Chapter 178. Then father, why did you let her go? Shin Jinyun asked angrily. If I didn't let her go, should I keep her here? Don't forget who you are. Moreover, how would you know how many traps that woman has set for us? Let's talk about it later. What you need to do now is to find out the identity of your wife, Xiao Jing. Rong Junhan is a few years older than eldest brother. So she must have had a child with a wild man long ago. But the Rong family hid it from us. Huang Yu felt as if a knife was stabbed into her heart when she thought about the couple who had just gotten married and had not come back from abroad. Mu Qiqi looked at the mess that Rong Junhan had caused in the Shin family. She shook her head and took a deep breath. Grandpa, father, I'm afraid I have no say in the matters of the Shin family. But please let me handle Mu Tongxue. Shao Qi. Grandpa Shin sighed. What do you mean you have no say in the matter? You are a member of the Shin family. Qiqi. Huang Yi thought about what she had done to her before. She felt ashamed. I'm sorry. I'm blinded by greed. I hope you won't hold a grudge against me. It's hard to predict a person's heart. Who would know that the family, who has been with us for more than 10 years, is actually a wolf in sheep's clothing? I don't blame you, second aunt. Mu Qiqi replied. It's not because I'm generous. It's just that what you are going to face next is a punishment. Since Rong Junhan dared to expose her illegitimate daughter, it means that she must have something on you. Perhaps she will make use of second uncle and her to set up a company. After all, second uncle works for the government. He will not tolerate such scandals. That's right. Look, even an 18-year-old child can see things more clearly than you. Of course, she can see things more clearly than Grandpa Shin. Grandpa Shin snorted. He was old now. Why don't you go back and think about it? Why are you still here? Then father will leave first. Shin Jinyun pulled his wife. I'll learn my lesson in the future. Humph. Grandpa Shin turned around and looked at third brother and his wife. What about you? Fortunately, I didn't have much contact with eldest sister all these years. So we don't have any financial ties. Third aunt smiled. Don't worry, father. That's good. Grandpa Shin glared at third aunt before turning to Mu Qiqi. What do you plan to do with Mu Tongxue? Mu Qiqi turned to look at Mu Tongxue and smiled. Grandpa, no punishment is better than letting her live under my watch. I'll give her a rundown house and a rundown school. I'll let her live a mediocre life so that she won't be able to stir up trouble again. I want her to see me achieve success with her own eyes. Mu Tongxue smiled. I won't be at ease no matter where I put the rest. You can't just kill them, right? Mu Tongxue's expression was blank. She simply didn't know what the others were whispering to her, nor did she know where Mu Qiqi intended to send her. Grandpa Shin nodded in agreement. She looks like you and can easily confuse people. So you have to be careful. Grandpa, I'm no longer the Mu Qiqi that she played with. Shao Qi, you're a real member of the Shin family from now on. Don't be an outsider. As my granddaughter, you're the real third generation of Jianchuan. Who would dare to bully you? Mu Qiqi smiled and turned to look at Shin Jianchuan. Father, I'll come to see you another day. You must recover well. Shin Jianchuan nodded and smiled happily. Because he had a feeling that Mu Qiqi would be a great person in the future. She would be able to make up for the lost time that he had been lying on the bed all these years. Grandpa Shin was relieved after Rong Junhan's true colors were exposed. He watched Mu Qiqi bring Mu Tongxue away and third aunt and his wife leave the hospital. Your daughter belongs to this category. Grandpa Shin gave her a thumbs up. Shin Jianchuan leaned against the bed and answered him with much difficulty. Father, we can let Mu Qiqi participate in second brother's business. Then second brother and his family won't bully Mu Qiqi anymore. How dare he? But I'm really curious about Mu Qiqi's ability. If she can even solve second brother's problem, Grandpa Shin will be very happy. But she is such a good girl. Becoming a forensic doctor. Since it's her choice, we should respect it as her elders. That was why Grandpa Shin felt that it was a pity. If Mu Qiqi joined the army and followed his old path, her future would be limitless. But it was fine for her to become a forensic doctor. After all, she was serving the society. After this battle, Mu Qiqi knew very well that her position in the Shin family had changed. He would not be ostracized anymore. However, she still needed some opportunities to prove herself to the Shin family if she wanted them to like her. Mu Qiqi asked Jing Yun to bring Mu Tongxue along. Actually, it was Xing Zhao's idea. It was much safer for the Xing family to supervise someone than to let her go outside. Xianxia said that he wanted to get rid of Mu Tongxue completely. He did not want her to have a chance to stir up trouble again. So he gave her a poor house and a chance to go to a vocational school. He gave her a future where she would not be able to live. No one would help her and no one would dare to get close to her. That would be her gloomy life from now on. The three of them sat in the car. Muqiqi looked out of the car window. After a long time she asked, "Do you still want to compete?" Mu Tongxue was dejected. Her heart was dead. So she shook her head. "I don't want to be you at all. All of this was caused by you. If you had a little bit of humanity and didn't do those things to grandma, mommy, grandpa and that scum of the Mu family, you wouldn't have ended up like this. You are a member of the Mu family. No matter how cruel grandpa is, he would not reject his own granddaughter. It's you." Mu Tongxue felt ashamed and angry when she remembered what she did to Grandpa Mu because she thought she was a member of the Shen family. Grandpa would never forgive me for the rest of his life. Why should he forgive you? You should know that the world does not revolve around you. Tongxue, everything in the past should be forgotten. You can say that I am cruel by keeping you in the slums. But I have to do it because I know that you have nothing to play with anymore. I accept. Mu Tongxue shed tears. At least I have a place to stay. Sister, you are still the best to me, right? Chapter 179. For the proud Mu Tongxue, she would have to wash her own clothes, cook her own food, clean her own house and live her own life. She would have to face the dirtiest environment and meet all kinds of bad people. It was the worst torture in the world. And because she would have to deal with life, Mu Tongxue would not have the energy to cause trouble anymore. "Miss Qiqi, let's go." Jing Yun reminded Mu Qiqi. "No one will recognize Mu Tongxue in 3 months after she comes here. Someone will take care of her. Don't worry. Because the tribulations of life can change a person beyond recognition." And she had bullied Mu Qiqi before. Would Xianxia let her live in peace? Daydreaming. For a young lady like Mu Tongxue, being reduced to such a state was like falling from heaven to hell. Could it be worse? Mu Qiqi nodded and went back to the car. From then on, she and Mu Tongxue would truly lead 2 different lives. After returning to the little mansion, Mu Qiqi told Su Zipei everything that had happened in the ward that afternoon. Su Zipei could not help but tremble in fear when she heard it. "I really did not expect that the Shen family had such a dirty secret. But fortunately, Rong Junhan did not marry into the Shen family. It is a blessing in disguise. But Rong Junhan will not let it go. He kept second uncle's family in check." Mu Qiqi sat in front of Su Zipei and took a sip of tea. "Let's not talk about the Shen family. Aunt, when are you going to marry Uncle Lu? And I really think that you two should have a small wedding. You don't have to worry about us. But do you think the Shen family doesn't hate you now?" Mu Qiqi sighed and smiled. "How can they not hate me? They just don't hate me as much as before. That is a good sign. And what are you afraid of when young Master Xing is here? But when you have a stable position in the Shen family, you will be more distant from young Master Xing. He is your uncle after all. Will the Shen family support you to be with young Master Xing?" That was the thing that worried Su Zipei the most at the moment. "Yes, you are the daughter of the Shen family now. Your status is different. But will Grandpa Shen do what he did to your parents?" Mu Qiqi was not sure about that, but she and Xiaoxiao would not be torn apart so easily. "I believe in Xiaoxiao. Since he has made such arrangements, he must have a plan in mind. When you get home later, ask him." Mu Qiqi trusted him, so she did not have to ask. Be that as it may, Mama Xing was still in the villa she had prepared for Xianxia. She had wanted to get close to her son and find out what kind of woman he was hanging out with, but Jing Yun was not at home all the time, much less Xianxia. Moreover, she had heard something about Mu Qiqi. Therefore, after staying in the villa for 2 days, she finally waited for Jing Yun to return home to rest. She stopped him and asked, "Jing Yun, I heard something. I want to confirm it with you." Jing Yun knew what was going on, but he was still worried. He was afraid that Mama Xing would ask, but he had to deal with Mama Xing for Xianxia. "Please ask, madam." Mama Xing held her teacup and rested one hand on her other elbow, her eyes puzzled. "I heard that Xianxia asked you to save a girl from the Mu family?" "Madam, she's a child of the Shen family who's living outside." "How old is she? Does Xianxia visit her often?" 18. She's in college now. Why would young master have the time to visit a little girl? It's just that this child saved young master's life when he was in a car accident. To return the favor, he asked me to help this child, Jingyun said calmly. Mama Sheng nodded at that. Jingyun, you have to be careful. You should know that there are a lot of girls out there waiting to climb into your young master's bed. Don't be careless and mess things up. I know. Since she's a child of the Shin family, it's fine to bring her to the Xing family and let everyone get to know her. The Shin family is in a lot of trouble now. I'll make arrangements for you after this. Jingyun said evasively. All right. I'm going back to the Xing family now. I can't do anything about Xianxia. Satisfied, Mama Xing put down the teacup in her hand. I'll see you off, madam. Then Jingyun told Xianxia everything Mama Xing had asked Muqiqi. Xianxia had just returned to his new home. He found Muqiqi reading some documents on the living room couch, but he still answered Jingyun, "You did well. Young master, forget it. You should rest." Jingyun was worried about Xianxia. He had promised Mama Xing that he would bring her daughter-in-law home in 3 months. Was he really going to bring Muqiqi to the Xing family? He wanted to ask, but he knew very well that Xianxia would not answer him. Xianxia raised a brow and hung up. He did not have to tell Jingyun everything about his own private affairs. When they entered the living room, he hugged Muqiqi from behind and carried her to the dining table. Then Muqiqi turned around and saw Xingzhao's handsome face as she wished. I know what happened in the hospital this afternoon. Did you enjoy it? I didn't manage to get Rong Junhan. Do you think I enjoyed it? Muqiqi snorted. Of course, I know that this woman has been lurking in the Shin family for so many years. It's not easy to deal with her. A cunning rabbit has 3 burrows. I believe that she must have prepared 10 escape routes for herself after staying in the Shin family for so many years. I've never seen such an evil person. She married her illegitimate daughter to the Shin family just to control the Shin family. It's your second uncle and second aunt's fault. Xianxia loosened his tie and revealed his sexy collarbone. Now Rong Junhan clearly wants to suck the blood of your second uncle and his family. Just like what you said, it's second uncle and his family's fault. I don't care about this kind of thing. Muqiqi hugged Xingzhao's neck and said, moreover, grandpa and father are so smart. How can they not deal with Rong Junhan? How hard can it be to deal with a woman? Xingzhao put her down from the dining table and led her to the bedroom. But your grandfather and second uncle are not suitable to be involved in certain situations. And you are a cunning little girl. You are not an outsider and you don't belong to the Shin family completely. Most importantly, you are not afraid of anything. You dare to go anywhere. Do you think Grandpa Shin will let you go? Xiao, my aunt asked me today. What about our relationship if I manage to get a foothold in the Shin family? Muqiqi suddenly remembered Su Zipei's question in the afternoon. Do you really want to be my uncle? Then Xingxiao turned around and lifted her chin. He said, I will be your uncle and your man. You are really, come on. I will let you see if your uncle is old or not. Chapter 180. Grandpa Shin wanted Shin Jinyun to find out the relationship between him and Rong Junhan. Now second elder of the Shin family was in a dilemma. Other than Shinlin's company, there are 3 other companies. I don't want to know how many companies you have now. I just want to know if you have done anything against the rules for this woman. Have you done anything behind the scenes? Grandpa Shin sat on the main seat in the living room and placed his hands on his knees. Father, you know me. No matter how bold I am, I won't dare to do something like that. We still need to find out whether you will do it or not. Huang Yu, tell us about Xiaojing now. Grandpa Shin glared at Shin Jinyun and then looked at Huang Yu. However, when it came to Shinlin, Huang Yu became more worried. When Xiaojing and Shinlin were together, she told Shinlin that her father was a painter, and her mother passed away after giving birth to her. Since they had never met her mother, they believed what she said. Yesterday, I asked a reliable friend to investigate it. Finally, I found out that Rong Junhan dated a poor painter for a period of time when she was young. But no one knew that they had a daughter. Moreover, Dad, all our assets are under Shinlin's name now. If Xiaojing really wants to do something, I'm afraid that we'll lose everything we've worked hard for the rest of our lives. Who asked you to be so gullible? Why didn't Rong Junhan go to third elder and his wife? Speaking of which, I have a big responsibility. Grandpa Shin took a deep breath. Now the biggest problem is Shinlin. If Shinlin is not bewitched and can tell right from wrong, it will be easy. But if I will call Shinlin now and ask him to come home. How about asking him to come home? Do you want him to divorce after he just got married? Grandpa Shin was having a headache now. Rong Junhan was really evil. How could she come up with such a plan? Moreover, Shinlin only cares about Xiaojing now. He might not believe you no matter what you say. In the end you might lose both your money and yourself. What should we do now? How many days before they come back? Grandpa Shin asked. 2 days. Huang Yu answered quickly. 2 days. I'll have to think about it. There's another problem, Dad. Shinlin might be prejudiced against Chi-Chi. After all, The old man glanced at her and understood the meaning of her words. It was normal for a mother to complain to her son, but he still couldn't help scolding. Xiaoqi owed you in her previous life. Moreover, Jing Yun had already calculated the things that second brother had prepared for Grandpa Shen. He had also prepared the information and handed it to Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao felt that Rong Junhan was quite an interesting person. Just because the second son of the Shen family was rather dull, she was like a vampire. She brought along her daughter and attached herself to the second son's family. It was one thing to swindle money, but the most unforgivable thing was to swindle feelings. Shinlin will be back from abroad in 2 or 3 days. He is an arrogant and despotic person. In addition, you are younger than him. It is inevitable that he will target you. Moreover, his wife is fanning his ears. So what if he hates me? I don't depend on him for a living. Mu Qiqi held Xing Zhao's shoulder and snorted. But you exposed Rong Junhan. I'm afraid the Shin family is counting on you to solve Shinlin's problem. They are newlyweds. How can I tell them that his wife is doing this for his money? Mu Qiqi could not bear it. Because it would be painful for her to think about it if it happened to her. If someone else had told her to separate from Xing Xiao like that, she would have been better off dead than alive. Lying is lying. You might think that it is cruel, but Rong Junhan and Rong Junhan don't think so. Xing Xiao turned around and hugged Mu Qiqi. Then he put her on his lap. What if I lied to you? Mu Qiqi asked tentatively. Xing Xiao bent down and smiled. You can't lie to me with your little tricks. If I find out that you lied to me, you won't be able to keep your butt anymore. Aren't you angry? I am angry. But I will train you. I will beat you every time I lie to you. I can't let you leave my side. Good or bad, you are my little one. Xing Xiao lifted Mu Qiqi's chin. His eyes were dangerous and warning. I told you before. Since you dragged me into hell, don't think that you can get out of it. As for me, I won't lie to you about my principles. At most, I will tell a little lie every day. Mu Qiqi made a gesture with her hand. I know. Because there were not many people who could lie to him in this world. Although he was a devil, he was a meticulous person. It was difficult for ordinary people to notice what Xing Xiao was looking at. But he was a person who knew how to behave. So, did she want to lie to him? Even if she cultivated for 10 lifetimes, it would not be enough. Have you tried your little uncle's body? Do you feel old? Mu Qiqi thought of those things just now. She blushed. Can you not talk about this here? We are on the bed. What else can we talk about? Xing Xiao teased her on purpose. Well, it's very useful. What do you think of it? Since it's very useful, let's use it again. Then Xing Xiao turned off the light. Although the room was dark, the atmosphere was getting more and more intimate. Then they started to moan. It was true. Second elder was in the middle of the situation now. So he desperately hoped that someone could help him. It was not a problem of money now. He just could not let his son be ruined like this. Rong Junhan was controlling his son. Who knew what else she would do to him? Huang Yu was a straightforward person. He was good at fighting. But when it came to scheming, she could only look at third aunt's back. But she was not on good terms with her. Father, after the couple comes back, let's have a meal together. Let Shinlin get to know Mu Qiqi. Huang Yu suggested to Grandpa Shen. Grandpa Shen did not like Huang Yu's character. She even wanted to beat her up. Now she had to ask for help. It was so embarrassing. But he still agreed with Huang Yu. That's good. We should get to know each other. But let me make it clear first. If Shinlin speaks rudely to Mu Qiqi, you must not spoil your son. Dad, I really did admit my mistake. I also know that Mu Qiqi is innocent. Although I'm a dumb person, I can distinguish between kindness and hatred. Since Mu Qiqi is a good person, of course, I won't mistreat her anymore. That's more like it. Chapter 181. The next day Xinlin brought his wife home. But he did not go back to the Xin family after they got off the plane. Instead he went to his wife's house. During dinner Xinlin's father-in-law, who was a painter, told him, "I heard that your Xin family has a sister who doesn't share the same surname. She is your eldest uncle's daughter. She has turned the Xin family upside down." Humph. If she doesn't have grandpa's support, she is just an 18-year-old girl. What can she do? Xinlin drank a glass of red wine. He was full of resentment. Grandpa has never treated my sister and me like that. I don't care what is going on in the Xin family. But you can't let my daughter be wronged. Otherwise I will make her leave you. Don't worry, father-in-law. Xinlin raised his glass and toasted to his father-in-law. Xiaojing is my life. Yu Jing took the opportunity to glance at her father. Their eyes met. Nothing needed to be said. There was no need for them to say anything else. They were all liars. The next morning Xinlin brought Yu Jing back to the Xin family. However, on the way back Yu Jing asked Xinlin, "I heard from my father that this sister of yours, who doesn't share the same surname as you, has a lot of tricks up her sleeves. She made grandpa very happy. So, I'm afraid that dad and mom will side with her." "Don't worry. Our parents hate her," Xinlin replied. "Even if our parents are convinced by her, I will not let you be wronged. I am your elder brother. I am your elder. Xinlin, you're the best to me." Yu Jing leaned on Xinlin's chest lovingly. Then Xinlin brought Yu Jing into the Xin family. However, the atmosphere in the Xin family was strange. The elders looked at Yu Jing from time to time. They were suspicious of her. It made Xinlin uncomfortable. "Mom, don't you know Xiaojing? Why are you looking at her so strangely?" "It's nothing. Did you have fun abroad?" Huang Yu listened to Grandpa Xin. She did not want to ruin her relationship with her son. With her temper she would not be able to hide it. However, Grandpa Xin called Mu Qiqi this morning. Mu Qiqi told Grandpa Xin that second aunt must suppress her temper. Since Xinlin hated her now, she would play the bad cop and second aunt would play the good cop. Then they would play the good cop and the bad cop together. In this way, even if Xinlin hated her even more, he would not let second aunt tell him about it. If they hurt their relationship, they would fall into Rong Juanhan's trap. After hearing Mu Qiqi's words, Huang Yu almost knelt down in front of Mu Qiqi. "I never thought that you would still be willing to help me. Xiaoqi isn't a good person. She didn't treat you like this because she forgave you." "That I know." Huang Yu nodded. "Xiaoqi is a part of the Xin family. He did this because of you and eldest brother." Humph. Therefore, when her son and daughter-in-law came back in the morning, she reminded herself to resist the urge to question Yu Jing. "Isn't a honeymoon like that? 2 days ago, you told me that the engagement between eldest uncle and eldest aunt was cancelled. What's going on? Did that girl not agree to it? It has nothing to do with Mu Qiqi. I will tell you the details later." Huang Yu did not mention a word about it because Mu Qiqi told her not to. It was because there were too many people involved in this matter. It was inevitable that Huang Yu would say something wrong. So she told her not to say anything. "It must be like this. Your grandpa knows that you are coming back. So he arranged a banquet to welcome you. You and Xiaojing should go back to your room and have a rest. I will tell you when it's time for dinner." "What do you mean by welcoming us? It's just to let us see that girl, right?" Xinlin said angrily. Eldest aunt has been worried about this family for so many years. Now this wild thing came out and got in her way. It's so unlucky. Huang Yu resisted the urge to scold him. She quickly drove her son away. Go. Because she was afraid that if Xinlin said another word she would not be able to hold it in anymore. What Rong Junhan wanted to do was to play mind games. She knew the Xin family too well. She did not want to play such tricks. Moreover, Mu Qiqi was just an 18-year-old child. So she revealed Yu Jing's secret to the public. Indeed, Mu Qiqi was just 18 years old. But Xianxia, who was behind her, could not be compared to 10 Rong Junhans. In the phone call between Mu Qiqi and Grandpa Xing in the morning, other than Mu Qiqi's own thoughts, Xianxia had given her a lot of hints. Xinlin was very angry. As her son, of course, he noticed that his mother was behaving strangely. But he could not tell why. Yu Jing saw that and smiled. She comforted him. "Don't think too much. No matter what, it will be fine when you see her tonight. At that time I must teach this girl a good lesson. She should know what she should do and what she should not do." Whether Mu Qiqi had Grandpa Xin's support or not, she was still Xingzhao's treasure. And Xianxia would only teach his woman how to take advantage of others. He had the upper hand how to show off. He would never teach her how to be humble and keep a low profile. Soon it was night. Mu Qiqi came out of Xingting University. She got into Xing Zhao's car. When can I go to the Xin family with you to have a meal openly? Xing Xiao glanced at her while he was driving. Do you really want to go public with me? Of course not. I don't want to call you uncle. Mu Qiqi pouted. But sometimes I really want to. Where is the hotel? The dynasty. Mu Qiqi answered. Why do you ask? Xing Xiao did not answer her. He sent Mu Qiqi to the dynasty and called Jing Yun. Since Mu Qiqi wanted him to appear in the Xin family, of course he could make it a beautiful encounter. After all, he still needed to eat, right? Mu Qiqi did not know what Xing Xiao was thinking about. She went straight into the hotel and went to a private room. Xing Xiao had told her not to be late or early. She did not want to be early to remind others of her identity. But she did not want to be late so that others would not be able to use it against her. So when she arrived at the private room, she was just in time. Qiqi, you are here. Grandpa Xin waved at her when he saw her. Come, Grandpa is here. How dare you to let the whole family wait for you? Xin Lin crossed his arms and snorted coldly. Mu Qiqi heard that. Then she looked at Xin Lin and raised her eyebrows. You must be Xin Lin, brother Xin, right? Grandpa told me that the dinner will be served at 7. So I arrived at 7. Is there a problem? I am not that close to you. Don't call me brother first. It's so straightforward. Chapter 182. What did you say? Xin Lin looked at Mu Qiqi angrily. Don't think that I won't dare to hurt you just because Grandpa is protecting you. I just came here and you're already angry. Are you trying to teach me a lesson? Mu Qiqi leaned back and looked at Xin Lin. But I don't want to be angry because of you. I pity you. Xin Lin looked at Mu Qiqi. What are you talking about? Do I need you to pity me? Why don't you need me to pity you? Do you know what your wife's real identity is? Mu Qiqi looked at Yu Jing with a cunning look. What does this have to do with Xiaojing? If you continue to talk nonsense, I won't be polite to you anymore. Xin Lin stood up and slammed the table angrily. Miss Yu, do you dare to tell your husband who your mother is? Yu Jing looked at Xin Lin awkwardly. I know that you want to tell everyone that your mother passed away during childbirth, right? Then I must congratulate you. Your mother is not dead. Mu Qiqi clapped her hands in front of everyone. Because she admitted that you're her daughter in front of everyone in the Xin family. You can't deny it, can you? What are you trying to say? Xin Lin was puzzled. What I want to say is that your new wife, Yu Jing, is Rong Juanhan's daughter. She's her illegitimate daughter with the painter. Do you understand? Xin Lin was stunned when he heard what Mu Qiqi said. He looked at his wife in disbelief. Then he looked at his parents. From their silent attitude, Xin Lin got the answer. Is it true? Xin Jinyun and his wife did not say anything. Even if it's true, isn't it too close? Closer ties. Mu Qiqi sneered and stood up. Do you know why your eldest uncle, who is my father, has been lying in bed for more than 10 years? Miss Yu's mother, Rong Junhan, hit him with her car. Stop slandering me. Eldest uncle became a vegetable because of a fight. Who are you trying to fool? Xin Lin held Yu Jing's shoulder. He was afraid that his wife would be sad. Whether I'm lying or not, the evidence is clear. Now what I want to know is, Miss Yu, are you in cahoots with the evil like your mother? Mu Qiqi pointed at Yu Jing and asked sharply. Shut up. Xin Lin scolded loudly. This is the Xin family, not a place where an outsider like you can behave atrociously. Mu Qiqi, you should be more suitable too. Huang Yu immediately got into character and played the part of the red-faced girl. My son and daughter-in-law didn't offend you. What do you mean you didn't offend him? This woman's mother caused my father to lie in the hospital for more than 10 years. She caused me to be bullied by the Mu family for so many years. So what if I ask her now? Or second aunt, are you not afraid that this woman is here to cheat your son's feelings? Yu Jing pretended to be pitiful. She looked at her husband and said, I don't know anything. I don't know why eldest aunt is my mother. Xiaojing, it's not your fault. Someone is trying to pick a fight with you. I'm trying to pick a fight with you? Are you the president or the most powerful man in the world? Xin Lin, I'm going to pick a fight with you. Don't be cheated by others. When Mu Qiqi said that, Xin Lin couldn't stand it anymore. He stood up and walked to Muqiqi. He grabbed her clothes and said, "I asked you to shut up. You little bastard." Shut up. Grandpa Shen couldn't stand it anymore when he heard the word little bastard. He looked at Shenlin sternly. Qiqi is just curious about what happened these few days. So she wants to ask her granddaughter-in-law. Why are you bullying her? How can you behave like this? Grandpa, I know you care about your granddaughter. But this woman has ulterior motives. We don't know what she is going to do to the Shen family. I think you're blind, Shenlin. The truth is right in front of us. Rong Junhan has done so many bad things. She has admitted it in front of everyone. Yu Jing is her daughter. I don't believe that she can stay out of this. What a joke. Eldest aunt is eldest aunt. Xiaojing is Xiaojing. If Xiaojing says that she doesn't know anything, she definitely doesn't know anything. Don't be a troublemaker. I believe in Xiaojing too. Huang Yu agreed with her son. Shenlin became more confident when he saw his mother supporting him. Moreover, this is our family's matter. It has nothing to do with you, an outsider. You better watch your mouth and get out of here. During that time, third brother went out of the room and went to the washroom. But he bumped into Xianxia on his way back. Therefore, when the two of them entered the private room, the atmosphere was tense. With Xianxia. Uncle Shen, what a coincidence. I was meeting a business partner here and bumped into third brother Shen. When everyone saw Xianxia, they knew the relationship between Muqiqi and Xianxia. But Huang Yu did not tell her son about the relationship between Muqiqi and Xianxia. So Shenlin said to Xianxia, "Crown Prince, you don't know how powerful my sister is. She has turned the Shen family upside down the moment she entered the Shen family." At that moment, Xianxia was still in the same outfit when he sent Muqiqi to the hotel. He was wearing a black retro suit which made him look noble. Then he walked to Muqiqi slowly. Then he raised his hand and patted Muqiqi's head. "Why are you so naughty when I let you enter the Shen family?" Everyone could tell that he was not blaming her. He was spoiling her. Of course, the others did not find it strange. After all, they were close because they were their benefactors. But Shenlin did not know that. When he saw how Xianxia spoiled Muqiqi, he knew that he had found the wrong ally. "It's not that I'm naughty. You know what happened in the Shen family recently. I just wanted to ask some questions. But the eldest brother of the Shen family stopped me. I just wanted to make everyone feel at ease. Second uncle and second aunt trust Yu Jing. But I don't. After all, I'm not their father. He has been lying in bed for more than 10 years. They don't hate each other." Seeing that, Grandpa Shen moved to let Xianxia sit down. Then Grandpa Shen said to Shenlin, "The reason why Qiqi could return to the Shen family was because Xianxia saved her. The relationship between them is not something you can imagine. No wonder she is so arrogant. She has the support of the Crown Prince. I don't have time to support anyone. But I've met her today. So I'll support her for once." Xianxia crossed his legs and answered Shenlin lazily. "It seems that you want to beat her up just now. If the Shen family doesn't want her, just give her to us. Why do you force yourself to accept her?" "Xianxia, you don't know about Rong Junhan. Uncle Shen, who doesn't know that the marriage between the Rong family and the Shen family is ruined? Everyone knows that Rong Junhan has an illegitimate daughter. Even I could hear it. So it's not strange that Muqiqi would have questions. After all, the people outside are curious about it." Chapter 183. Muqiqi almost wanted to set off firecrackers for her man after she heard what Xianxia said. What she said was quite powerful. She told Shenlin that Rong Junhan had an illegitimate daughter who was Yu Jing. Moreover, she told him that everyone knew about it now. So it made sense for Muqiqi to question Yu Jing's identity. Muqiqi looked at Shenlin. Her man was indeed a godly person. Sure enough, Shenlin turned to look at his wife after he heard what Xianxia said. "Xiaojing, no matter what, I believe that you are innocent. You should also tell everyone that you are innocent." "I believe Xiaojing." Huang Yu expressed her attitude at that moment. "Xiaojing, you should say it." Shin Jinyun played the role of the victim again. Because if both of them believed her, Yu Jing would definitely be suspicious. Yu Jing looked as if she had been wronged. She pouted and tried to hold back her tears. However, under everyone's pressure, she stood up and said, "I really didn't know that my mother was still alive. I don't know anything. I don't have any motive. I only got together with Shenlin because I love him." "All right. Since it's because of love and your family is not short of money, Will you agree if I ask you to sign a letter of guarantee? Mu Qiqi took the opportunity to suggest. I believe you when you say that you are not doing it for money. Since you have already said it, it's not a big deal to make a promise, right? Mu Qiqi, you are too much. It's my business if I want to give Xiaojing money. Your business? Among the companies in your hands, which one of them wasn't funded by second uncle and second aunt? What ability do you have to give them? What right do you have to say that it's your business? Now that Rong Juanhan's case has happened, who can guarantee that Yu Jing is innocent? Yu Jing felt wronged as she listened to him. In the end, she burst into tears. Yushins are such bullies. It's you and Rong Junhan who lied to us. I told you that I am not close to Rong Junhan. Yu Jing insisted. Why don't you believe me no matter what I say? Xiaojing, calm down. Xin Lin quickly comforted his wife. Since the Xin family can't tolerate us, let's go. I'm leaving too. Huang Yu threw down her chopsticks and left the banquet hall with her son and daughter-in-law. After the three of them left, Mu Qiqi sat down and looked at second uncle. She said, now we can't be sure whether Yu Jing is really involved in this or not. But at least she won't dare to act rashly after what happened today. Second uncle, when you go home, you must pretend to quarrel with second aunt. Then brother Shinlin will trust second aunt more. If he has any decision, he will tell second aunt directly. Qiqi, second uncle, thank you. Shin Jingyun said sincerely, you're willing to do such a thankless thing for a sinner like me. It's not just your family's business. It's also my father's business. I have a good reason to do this. After saying that, Mu Qiqi glanced at Xing Xiao. But Xing Xiao did not look at her. Perhaps he was afraid that Grandpa Shen would see through Mu Qiqi's feelings for him if they looked at each other. Moreover, I believe that Xin Lin will understand your good intentions in the end. Shin Jinyun picked up the wine glass and finished it in one gulp. He still looked worried. I hope so. Grandpa Shin glanced at Mu Qiqi and then looked at Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao, tell me honestly. Did you teach this child a few tricks too? Xing Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi and smiled. She's a good seedling. He can be trained well. You and Mu Qiqi are fated. You have to be a good uncle. That way I won't have to worry about Mu Qiqi. Good uncle. Xing Xiao snorted, but he did not refute him. He had already taught her on the bed. How could he be serious? It's just that once Xiao Qi is involved in this, she might suffer a lot in the future. What do you mean by that? Mu Qiqi pouted. Grandpa, brother Shinlin can't win against me in an argument. Compared to Mu Tongxue, Yu Jing is much worse in pretending to be pitiful. Everyone can see that her acting skills are terrible. Brother Shin only trusts her because he likes her. But if you're afraid that I'll be beaten up, then you must send someone to protect me. You little girl. Grandpa Shin pointed at Mu Qiqi and smiled. Since the show has begun, let's work together and get over Rong Juanhan's hurdle. Everyone nodded. Then they started to eat as if nothing had happened. But after Grandpa Shin talked about the Shin family, he turned to Xing Xiao and asked, Are you 27 this year? Uncle Shin, do you care about my age? I care that you should get married soon. Grandpa Shin sighed. Why haven't I heard anything about it? Why don't you find a woman to take care of you? Look at you. You can get any woman if you ask for it. I have a woman, Xing Xiao replied calmly. Why don't you bring her to meet me? It's not the right time yet. Xing Xiao smiled. I'm afraid she's a very good match for you, the crown prince. Xing Xiao shrugged. He also felt that this person was a very good match. There were thousands of women in the world. But why did he fall into the hands of such a little girl? He had racked his brains and resorted to all sorts of tricks so that she could stay by his side in the future. Even now, he was paving the way for her to stay in the Shin family. Mu Qiqi couldn't help it. She reached her hand under the table and touched Xing Xiao's knee. Xing Xiao noticed it. He raised his eyebrows and looked at her. Do you want to die? The three of them left the private room and went to Yu Jing's house. They did not want to go back to the Shin family anymore. Shinlin was furious. I really want to strangle that bitch. Shinlin, why did we leave? We can't let this happen. If we leave, Mu Qiqi will be even more unscrupulous. What's worse is that your father doesn't trust his son and daughter-in-law. Instead, he trusts an outsider. Huang Yu's eyes turned red when she thought about it. Mother, you're right. We can't leave the Shin family just like that. Xiao Jing, you're the daughter-in-law of the Shin family. You can't be wronged for no reason. Let's go back. But I really don't want to be misunderstood by your family. Yu Jing burst into tears. I really have nothing to do with Rong Junhan. Don't worry. Didn't that woman ask you to sign a letter of guarantee? I will transfer the company to your name. I want to prove to the Xin family that you have nothing to do with Rong Junhan. You only married me because you love me. Chapter 184. Huang Yu secretly sent a message to the Xin family. Xin Jinyun could not help but sigh when he saw that Xin Lin wanted to transfer all the companies to Yu Jing. I really don't know what he has done. Everyone has a rebellious mentality. It's normal, second uncle. Mu Qiqi was waiting for the news in the Xin family. So she knew about Xin Lin's plan. If it doesn't work, I will give up those companies. Even if you don't want them, it doesn't mean that Rong Jinyun and Rong Jinyun will give up. Moreover, you have worked so hard to get those companies. Why do you let the swindlers get what they want? Mu Qiqi asked Xin Jinyun. We are injured both inside and outside. If you think like this, you will fall into Rong Junhan's trap. Because this is what she wants. Mu Qiqi comforted Xin Jinyun. Anyway, the situation can't get any worse. Why don't you relax? Anyway, you have already decided to give up the companies. Are you afraid that you can't solve this problem? What should we do now? I don't know much about the company. I think we can find the best lawyer. As for brother Xin Lin, we can ask second aunt to hold him back. Mu Qiqi told Xin Jinyun that he was a politician. So he had always let his son and Rong Junhan manage the company. So, instead of worrying about it now, it was better for him to hire a lawyer and prepare for the worst. As for Mu Qiqi, she should go back home and consult the experts. What Qiqi said makes sense. Instead of sighing here, why don't we try our best to think of a countermeasure? How can the men of the Xin family be so easily defeated? Grandpa Xin also spoke up to calm his son. Don't be worse than your niece. Xin Jinyun nodded. Actually, he was worried that Xin Lin would be cheated. Money was just a worldly possession. Moreover, the money that he had invested over the years had already returned to him. However, he was unwilling to let others take advantage of him. Then Mu Qiqi went home. She texted Huang Yu on her way home. Second aunt, please be careful. Huang Yu had mixed feelings when she read the message. He treated Mu Qiqi so well in the past. But now Mu Qiqi was thinking about them. For a moment, Huang Yu felt that she was not a human. She was not only stupid but also blind. After that, Huang Yu went to rest. Now the three of them stayed at Yu Jing's house. Her father went out to sketch. Lying in the Yu family, she was really on tenterhooks. She was afraid that Xin Lin would really sell the company after Yu Jing's pillow talk tonight. When Mu Qiqi got home, she wrapped her arms around Xing Zhao's neck and kissed his face. You arranged for us to appear in the hotel, didn't you? It wasn't a chance encounter. Xing Zhao carried her to the study and put her on the sofa. You don't like me to appear? Of course I do. Mu Qiqi sat in his arms and gave him the answer. It's just that you've really become my little uncle now. What's the progress with the Xin family? Xing Zhao changed the topic so that she would not think too much. Xin Lin was so angry that he said he wanted to transfer the company to Yu Jing. Is there sh*t in his brain? Mu Qiqi could not help but complain. Does he really think that he has found his true love? Xiao, tell me, did I aggravate their conflict and cause the current situation? Don't worry. If you didn't aggravate them, second brother and his family would have been betrayed. They would have to pay for the betrayer. That would be really miserable. At least it's not too late to make up for it. Then Xin Lin wants to transfer the company. Even if he really wants to transfer everything to Yu Jing, he needs a lawyer. He needs to go through the procedures. It's not something that can be done in 1 or 2 days. Xing Zhao patted her but to calm her down. It's not a problem at all. So you still have time to change Xin Lin's mind. How did Yu Jing and Rong Junhan contact each other? If it's not a meeting, it must be a communication tool. If second aunt pays attention, she will definitely find out about it. Moreover, Xin Lin is blinded by love now. I can't understand other things, but I can understand this. Mu Qiqi looked at Xing Zhao deeply. It was because every time something like this happened, she would always think about herself. What would she do if she faced the same situation? You can understand? Isn't it normal for Xin Lin to be cheated 8 to 10 times? Xing Zhao snorted. Ugh. Was this the contempt of a genius? Since Rong Junhan told you this news, it means that she is not afraid of your investigation. As long as Yu Jing insists that she doesn't know about it, Xin Lin will have a reason to believe her and support her. Now the most important thing is to find out the evidence of them contacting each other. Otherwise, all of Rong Juanhan's plans will succeed. She will alienate the Xin family and let her daughter get the company. Moreover, she will take revenge on the Xin family. What will you do if you are in her shoes? Xianxia looked at Mu Qiqi playfully. What will you do if you are in Rong Juanhan's shoes? Of course, I won't let you find any evidence. So I will choose to cut off all contact with Yu Jing in a short period of time. But don't forget that there is another person in the middle. Xianxia reminded Mu Qiqi. Yu Jing's father. Mu Qiqi immediately thought of him. If Yu Jing's father is their mouthpiece, Xinlin will not suspect anything. Second aunt said that Yu Jing's father has gone out to sketch. Xianxia could not help but laugh when he heard that. Sketch? He's probably with Rong Juanhan now. Can Jingyun find their location? Do you think Jingyun is a tracker or a hound? Xianxia could not help but laugh. It's best to let the paparazzi do this kind of thing. To change Xinlin's mind, they must let him see Yu Jing's true colors. But now he was completely immersed in his wife's tenderness. The whole family was worried about him. Grandpa Xin took some time to visit his eldest son. He told Xin Jianchuan about what happened in the Xin family. Now Xin Jianchuan had recovered a little. He could speak more fluently. Father, why don't you let Xinlin learn his lesson? Grandpa Xin did not understand what Xin Jianchuan meant. Xinlin was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. His life has always been smooth sailing. He will grow up if he suffers a little. Otherwise, he will have a rebellious mentality no matter how you teach him. He will be just like me in the past. Do you want second brother to give the company to Rong Juanhan? Grandpa Xin stared at him. Of course, I don't mean that. Xin Jianchuan laughed. Alright, you're doing rehabilitation training now. You don't have to worry about this. You're just like Xiao. You look arrogant and despotic, but you're full of schemes. You just want to see Xinlin fall, right? You want to help your daughter, don't you? Chapter 185. To Xin Jinyun and Huang Yu, they did not want to see their son drift further away from them and be deceived by Yu Jing. But to Xinlin, the entire Xin family seemed to have been bewitched by Mu Qiqi. They were all against him and his delicate wife. So to show his support for his wife, he contacted the lawyer the next morning. He was really going to transfer the rest of the companies to Yu Jing. Huang Yu could not help but pull Xinlin aside when she saw her son making the call. She said, I don't mind if you want to support Xiao Jing. But if you give all of them to Xiao Jing, what will happen to us when we grow old? Xiao Jing will be filial to you, said Xinlin. I have discussed with Xiao Jing last night. Mom, don't worry. Xiao Jing will not mistreat you. We will be the same as before. Huang Yu shook her head. I just feel disappointed. You are willing to bet the rest of our lives for Xiao Jing. Mom, don't you believe in Xiao Jing? I believe her. But it is a fact that you are unfilial. After Huang Yu finished speaking, she retreated to the side. For a moment, she also wanted to give up on her son's matter. She didn't want to ask him if he was really cheated. However, if she really wanted to give these things to others, Huang Yu felt unwilling. Why should she? At that moment, Xinlin was a little hesitant. But he had already said it. He swore in his heart that he would take good care of his mother in the future. But he had never thought of leaving a guarantee for his parents. Yu Jing was really happy. She did not expect Xinlin to be so gullible. He was so loyal to her. If he was not a man from the Xin family, she would not be able to find a man like him. Mom, don't worry. I promised Xinlin that I will treat you like my own mother. So, please believe me. Huang Yu could not look at Yu Jing. She turned around and went back to her room. As long as you are happy. Let's wait for 2 more days. Xiao Jing, wait for the lawyer to finish all the paperwork. Then I will tell the Xin family that you are the most important person to me. No one can bully you. Did Xinlin really think that the Xin family would care if he gave the companies to Yu Jing? The Xins did not care about money. To Huang Yu and her husband, as long as it was not Rong Juanhan, they could give it to anyone. They would even give it to a beggar. Huang Yu was very sad. So her son was actually like this. She had never realized it before. Did she spoil him too much? Then Huang Yu sent the news to the Xin family. The Xin family was furious. They all told Huang Yu to go home. She didn't have to suffer this injustice. As for Jingyun, he had arranged many paparazzi to follow Rong Juanhan. Of course, they were all famous people in the industry. There would be news about them in less than a day. As expected, Jing Yun replied the next morning. I got something. Then he sent a photo to Rong Junhan. It showed that Rong Junhan and Mr. Yu had left the house at 3 o'clock in the morning. They went to a 24-hour shop to buy some daily necessities. Then they went back to the villa on the hillside. With these photos, even if they could not prove that Yu Jing and Rong Junhan were in contact, they could still prove that Yu Jing's father was in contact with Rong Junhan. It would be perfect if he could get more information from the Yu family's investigation. Jing Yun had put in a lot of effort, but he still needed time to get the result. Now that Mu Qiqi had the photos, she only needed to stop Shin Lin from signing the transfer agreement. Then she would give him a severe blow to wake him up completely. But Shin Lin was afraid that the Shin family would stop him. So he decided to deal with this matter quickly so that Yu Jing would not have any worries. After Huang Yu saw what he was doing, she couldn't stand it anymore. She grabbed Shin Lin and gave Yu Jing a tight slap. Are you going to see my son break up with me? Are you going to be happy? Mother, I didn't. Yu Jing covered her face. Her eyes were filled with tears. You didn't stop me. You just want the Shin family's assets, right? Mother, how could you do this to Xiaojing? I insisted on giving the company to her. How dare you hit her? Shin Lin, your father and I have done our duty as parents to raise you up. But today I don't want you as my son anymore. How could you give your parents' assets to a woman like her? What are we? Mother, Xiaojing, don't tell me that she will be filial to me. Just wait and see. When she gets the company, she will dump you. Huang Yu said and turned around. Just pretend that I don't have you as my son. I'm so sad. Shin Lin did not ask Huang Yu to stay. After all, he knew that his mother would not be angry at him. But it was a pity that Huang Yu was really angry this time. She went back to the Shin family and cried loudly in her husband's arms. She felt better when she saw Mu Qiqi at night. Mu Qiqi is my daughter from now on. I don't care about that bastard anymore. Second aunt, don't say that out of anger. I'm not saying that out of anger. Huang Yu snorted. If we can get those companies back, I will give them to Mu Qiqi. Are you serious? Grandpa Shin frowned and looked at her. I swear. I'm serious. Look at Mu Qiqi. She was bullied by me. But now she is helping me. Her own son is so inhumane. Second aunt, don't worry. We will solve this problem soon. Because we have the photos of Yu Jing's father and Rong Junhan living together. In order to prevent any accidents, second uncle has asked Shin Lin's lawyer to come over today. He told the lawyer about the situation at home. The lawyer said that he is willing to help the Shin family to avoid being cheated. So the contract will not take effect even if brother Shin Lin signs it tomorrow. Let's see how Yu Jing will react then. So you're saying that everything is ready? Huang Yu asked. Her eyes were filled with eagerness. She wanted to tear off Yu Jing's mask of hypocrisy. The plan to fight back is ready. But you must be prepared. You will lose your daughter-in-law. Humph. If Shin Lin learns a lesson from this, he will be lucky. But if he is still so stubborn, I can't do anything about it. Fortunately, Mu Qiqi suggested to ask the lawyer to help us. If he really helps us, we must repay him in the future, Shin Jinyun said. Let's watch the show tomorrow. Mu Qiqi went to the hospital to visit Shin Jianchuan after discussing with the others. She was happy to see her father recovering well. I believe that you will be able to get out of bed and walk soon. Qiqi, teach the bad guy a lesson. I will support you, Dad. Actually, I have done all these. It was all because she wanted to be with Xiao better. But she could not say it out loud at this moment. In her world, Xianxia was everything. Chapter 186. They had to prepare a lot of documents to transfer the ownership of the company. If the lawyer was fast, he could prepare everything in a few days. Then Shin Lin and Yu Jing would go to the bureau to change the legal person. Soon those companies would no longer belong to the Shin family. Shin Lin was naive. He dared to transfer the company to Yu Jing because he believed that it was their joint property. Even if Yu Jing wanted to take it, she would not take all of it. But he did not know that Rong Junhan had already planned everything. She just needed to set up a trap to accuse him of having an affair. Then she could ask him to leave the Shin family with nothing. If she did not have such a plan, how could she be considered as someone who had schemed against the Shin family for so many years? Now, the more the Shin family targeted Yu Jing, the more Shin Lin wanted to prove his determination. Even when Huang Yu left him, he still insisted on giving the company to her. He did not think about his parents at all, because he thought that his parents had worked so hard for their whole lives. So they should give him the company eventually. Otherwise, why did they work so hard? He thought that Shen Jinyun and Huang Yu were deceived by Mu Qiqi. So he wanted to settle the matter as soon as possible because he was afraid that there would be more problems. But the Shen family did not appear in front of him when the lawyer was preparing the documents. It seemed that what Huang Yu said was true. Did they not want to acknowledge him as their son anymore? Yu Jing saw Shen Lin was silent. She was afraid that he would change his mind. So she tried to persuade him. Are you afraid that your parents will be angry? You're their baby. They won't be angry with you easily. But the Shen family did not do anything these few days. Maybe the elders of the Shen family are helping me. Yu Jing hugged Shen Lin's head and said, I will treat you better in the future. That's true. Grandpa has Mu Qiqi now. He won't care about me anymore. Thinking of this, Shen Lin put away his fear and became more determined. Xiao Jing, fortunately we can go through with the procedures tomorrow. Silly girl. I love you no matter what. But only Shen Lin believed that. The Shen family did not do anything. Although Rong Junhan was curious about it, she believed that the Shen family could not do anything about it anymore. So she just let Shen Lin deal with it. Anyway, it was just a few companies. The second son, Shen Jinyun, did not rely on these few companies to make a living, but it was enough for his family. He knew that Yu Jing was her daughter and that Yu Jing was lying to Shen Lin, but Shen Lin refused to believe it. This feeling was really worth celebrating with a glass of red wine. But she did not know that the Shen family had already made all the preparations to fight back. Tomorrow would be a good day to expose Yu Jing. The Shens knew that Shen Lin and Yu Jing would be going to the Bureau of Industry and Commerce to settle the paperwork tomorrow. Moreover, they had booked a VIP room. Therefore, Shen Jinyun and Huang Yu dressed up early in the morning. They wanted to give Shen Lin a surprise today. Mu Qiqi had told the two elders that they must go there 1 hour later than Shen Lin. She deliberately waited for them to finish the procedures. She must let Shen Lin and Yu Jing believe that what was done. There was no turning back. In this way, Yu Jing might give herself away. She might think that her plan had succeeded. She might not be willing to continue to lie to Shen Lin. Therefore, Shen Lin brought his lawyer and Yu Jing to the Bureau of Industry and Commerce. Everything went smoothly. He did not know that the staff at the Bureau of Industry and Commerce was actually entrusted by the Shens. Although Shen Lin and Yu Jing had submitted the documents and signed the documents, the staff did not accept them. Because the Shens told the staff at the Bureau of Industry and Commerce that they might be involved in fraud, the staff arranged this show. According to the procedure, the legal person would be changed within 5 to 10 working days. Then a new legal person's license would be issued. But in Yu Jing's heart at this point, the Shen family could no longer be changed. Especially when they saw Huang Yu and Shen Jinyun at the lobby of the Bureau of Industry and Commerce when they were about to leave. Shen Lin's expression changed. It was because he saw Huang Yu covering her face and crying. She immediately rushed over and grabbed her son's arms, saying, "Are you done? Did you really give the company to this bitch?" He's my wife. I won't allow you to say that about her. Are you still protecting her?" Huang Yu said. Then she took out some photos from her bag and threw them to Shen Lin. "Look at them yourself." Shen Lin took the photos and flipped through them. Then he saw that Rong Junhan was living with his father-in-law. But he still sided with Yu Jing. So he erased the photos and said to Huang Yu, "What does this mean? Mom, aren't you making a big deal out of this?" After Shen Lin said that, Shen Jinyun had already slapped him. "Wake up. How can Yu Jing not know that Rong Junhan is living with this Yu family man? You just don't want to believe that this family is a liar, right? Dad." Shen Lin was shocked. Because he had never been slapped by his father before. "Yu Jing, do you really not know?" Shen Jinyun did not want to talk to his son anymore. Instead, he looked at Yu Jing and asked. But Yu Jing never thought that her parents would be secretly photographed. So she did not know how to answer. "Do you dare to say that you don't know?" When Yu Jing wanted to say something, she received a message from her phone. Yu Jing panicked. She wanted everyone to ignore it. But Huang Yu grabbed her handbag and took out her phone. Then she saw the message from Papa Yu. "Is the transfer of the company done?" Huang Yu showed it to Shen Lin when she saw the message. "It seems that your father is very concerned about the transfer of the company. Papa, you never liked to ask about this kind of thing. He was obsessed with his paintings. But he sent a message at this time. Xinlin finally looked at Yu Jing suspiciously. Xiao Jing, what's going on? I'm just concerned about you. Your father doesn't even care about our marriage. Why is he concerned about the transfer of the company? Xinlin asked. You said that you will always believe in me. Yu Jing knew that she could not explain it. So she could only play the emotional card. How would I know why my father sent me such a message? I really don't know. At that moment, Papa, you sent another message. Let us know when the transfer of the company is done. This time Xinlin saw it with his own eyes. Which, us? Yu Jing frowned. She did not expect that things would turn out this way. Anyway, she could not hide it anymore. So she did not bother to serve this family anymore. You are so rude. My phone is such a private thing. How can you touch it? Xinlin was shocked when he heard what Yu Jing said. He looked at Yu Jing in disbelief. What did you say? Chapter 187. Xiao Jing. Your parents are right. My mother and I have been in cahoots for a long time. My mother was the one who arranged for me to meet you for the first time. Otherwise, do you think that there are so many coincidences in this world? Do you think that we can meet each other every day? Yu Jing kept the things. She smiled when she saw that Huang Yu was going to eat her alive. I'm warning you. This is a public place. If you dare to hurt me here, I will definitely call the police. Xinlin had never thought that a person could turn into a complete stranger in the blink of an eye. You admit it? Huang Yu asked angrily. Yes, I admit it. But what can you do to me? The procedures have been completed. The Industrial and Commercial Bureau has accepted the case. Everything has gone through the legal process. Do you still want to change it? We don't need you anymore, Xinlin. After that, Yu Jing wanted to leave quickly. However, Xinlin stopped her. Xiao Jing, did you say that because you were forced to do so? Yu Jing was impatient. She shook off Xinlin's hand and stared at him angrily. Are you an idiot? Xinlin, do you know how stupid you are? Do you know how stupid you are in bed? You don't know. You only know how to ask for things from your parents. Yes, you are infatuated and you treat me very well. But think about it yourself. What part of you is worthy of being liked by others from the beginning to the end? You are impatient. You have no achievements. You don't have any skills. You rely on your family background to show off. You have never spent a single cent on your company. So, I don't feel guilty at all for lying to you. Are you even a man? Xinlin was dumbfounded. Yu Jing had said that he wasn't a man in front of so many people. She had even told everyone about their sexual intercourse. Men could not stand to be questioned about their ability in bed. However, the people around them looked at him as if they were watching a joke. Just wait for the divorce. Yu Jing sneered when she saw that Xinlin was dumbfounded. She glanced at Huang Yu and her husband before she turned around and continued walking. This whole family is a bunch of fools. They are hopeless. Xinlin was embarrassed. He then thought of canceling the procedures to change the legal person. However, the staff at the information desk told him, the cases that have been accepted cannot be cancelled. If you regret, you can negotiate with the other party. You can also file a lawsuit in court after the case is over. This is mine. I said I won't give it to you. Why can't I? Xinlin widened his eyes and shook the little girl at the information desk. This is the rule. Otherwise, do you think this is a market? You'll change as soon as you say so. Xinlin was devastated. He still wanted to chase after Yu Jing, but Yu Jing was nowhere to be found. Who asked him to write Yu Jing's name when he bought a car? No, this was a dream. Otherwise, how could a person change so quickly? Xinlin still couldn't believe it. He wanted to chase after Yu Jing, but Xin Jinyun stopped him. He slapped Xinlin's face 3 times. Are you awake? Haven't you embarrassed yourself enough? Xinlin's head was buzzing. He really didn't expect that he would be cheated. He was so confident, so trusting of Yu Jing and so devoted to her. Yet Yu Jing said that he wasn't a man? Xinlin knelt on the ground in front of his parents. At this moment his whole life collapsed. Didn't you trust that woman? Didn't you want to give everything you have to someone else? Are you okay now? Xinlin was in a daze. He hugged Huang Yu's right leg. Apart from disbelief, there were only tears in his eyes. Xin Jinyun didn't want to be embarrassed anymore. He immediately said to Huang Yu, bring this bastard back first. He doesn't want us anymore. Why should I care about him? Huang Yu pretended to be cruel. Mom, I didn't do it on purpose. I really didn't do it on purpose. Fortunately, everything was in time. Otherwise, the mother and daughter from the Rong family would be very proud of themselves. She looked at Xinlin. Although Yu Jing was despicable, what she said about her son was true. Huang Yu was reflecting on herself. Of course, the three of them did not stay in the living room for long. Soon they returned to the Xin family. After they entered the house, Xinlin knelt in front of Grandpa Xin willingly. Grandpa Xin glanced at him and drank his tea leisurely. Why? You were not like this when you left the Xin family. Grandpa, I'm wrong. I'm really wrong. How could I trust a vicious woman so much? Xinlin confessed and slapped himself. I'm so wrong. It's meaningless for you to apologize to me. You should apologize to your parents. You've hurt your mother's heart. Xinlin turned around and looked at Huang Yu. However, Huang Yu was unwilling to look at him. Just take it that I've raised an ingrate. Mom, please forgive me. I'm too stupid. I can't see a person clearly. Huang Yu felt sorry for her son. However, she listened to Mu Qiqi. She must hold it in and not give Xinlin any chance. So she decided not to look at her son. She said to Grandpa Xin, Dad, I'm going back to my room. Go ahead. Grandpa Xin nodded. Mom, Xinlin, you must be clear. We used to give you the things that your father and I fought for. But now we can't do that. Don't even think about using our money. You can do whatever you want. You have to earn your own money. We've spent so much effort to raise you. But what about you? You're relying on someone else. From now on, we'll draw a clear line. Whenever you want to rely on the Xin family, you'll be borrowing it. You must return it. After that, Huang Yu left without looking back. Xinlin had no sense of boundaries. So he felt that it was natural for him to rely on his parents. However, Mu Qiqi wanted Huang Yu to teach Xinlin about that. He did not have the right to use his parents' things without their consent, because it was the most basic morality of a person. Xinlin lowered his head and cried in regret. But no one was watching his performance. Grandpa Xin snorted coldly. Then he went to his fish pond and continued his leisurely life. So Xinlin knelt in the living room of the Xin family. He felt better doing that. He was punishing himself. Meanwhile, Huang Yu went back to the bureau. She wanted to confirm that Xinlin's change of legal person was invalid. After getting the answer, Huang Yu felt relieved. She called Mu Qiqi. Qiqi, everything went well. Hehe. When the Rong family knows about this, their expressions will be very interesting. I can already imagine it. Mu Qiqi said mischievously. Chapter 188. Huang Yu came back and saw Xinlin still kneeling in the living room. She looked at his back and felt sorry for him. So she walked to him and said, Maybe it's because of our genes. That's why we can't see clearly. Xinlin did not say anything. It's meaningless for you to kneel here. Go back to your room. Xinlin did not move. Huang Yu took a deep breath and did not try to persuade him anymore. She went back to her room. Although Rong Junhan was hateful, she had always supported Rong Junhan the most. So at the end of the day, she was no better than her son. How's the Industrial and Commercial Bureau? Huang Yu answered quickly when she heard her husband's question. Don't worry. The Industrial and Commercial Bureau did not accept it. Xin Jinyun nodded. We're lucky this time. If Mu Qiqi did not help us, things would not have gone so smoothly. We owe her a thank you and an apology. Huang Yu knew it too. She sighed in her heart. No wonder Grandpa Xin dotes on Mu Qiqi. She deserves it. Look at our unfilial son. Forget it. Let's wait and see Rong Junhan's ugly face. She lied to us for so many years. I really want to skin her alive. No matter if Huang Yu dared to skin Rong Junhan or not, she would definitely skin Mu Qiqi alive. She made her father lie in bed for so many years. She must get revenge on Xin Jianchuan no matter what. At night, when Xianxia returned home, he saw Mu Qiqi throwing herself at him. He quickly caught the little one, held her round and brought her into the living room. Why are you so passionate? Rong Junhan and her daughter were fooled. Mu Qiqi said to Xianxia proudly. Xianxia smiled and put her on the sofa. Then he took off his dark blue suit jacket and sat beside her. Now I think Qi can do whatever she wants to them. If it's possible, I want her to lie in bed for 8 to 10 years. As for Yu Jing, I heard that she was just like Qianxian's mistress by Xinlan. when she was at the Bureau of Industry and Commerce. She lied to the other party and still thought that she was helping the people. Why are these people's views so strange? The biggest reason why Xianxia loved Muqiqi was that no matter what Muqiqi went through, she could always remain true to herself. Never distort yourself. Now that he saw Muqiqi in high spirits, he could not help but hug his woman and said, "Perhaps your wish can come true. Turn her into a vegetable?" Xianxia laughed and stroked Muqiqi's hair. "Don't you mind getting your hands dirty? There's another way." "Xiao, I was just joking. Don't take it seriously." She and Rong Junhan were not the same kind of people. "Idiot." Xianxia held the little one in his arms and deeply inhaled her scent. However, he smelled something strange. "Why is it so smelly?" I'm going to observe the anatomy class." Then she looked up and asked, "There will be rotten limbs, organs, maggots in the future. Will you despise me?" "I'll catch you and wash you 10 times a day." Xianxia was a bit of a neat freak, but it varied from person to person. If Muqiqi smelled bad because of the autopsy, he would not have despised her at all. In fact, he would have felt a little proud. "Look, she's my woman. When your daughter, the rich lady, is shopping, she is doing things that men may not be able to do. Serving society. That was the ultimate value of human existence." Muqiqi smiled brightly. Because she knew that even if everyone despised her in this world, Xianxia would not. Because he was a man who truly understood life and had a broad vision. As she watched, Muqiqi couldn't help but lean forward and give him a kiss. That kiss made Xianxia pull her onto his body and straddle her. Soon they were not satisfied with just kissing. Xianxiao's eyes darkened with desire. He wanted to bring Muqiqi back to the bedroom. But Muqiqi held him down and said, "Right here." Xianxiao's voice was hot. It was even a little scorching. "I said right here." It was easy to take off the skirt and the underwear. Everything happened in a split second. But Xianxia did not move. He was restraining his desire. "Go up and get the condom." Muqiqi nodded. He would not do it easily. Xianxia had told her more than once that she should not let any accidents happen until the right time. Because abortion was too harmful to the body. So, they ended it in the bedroom even though it started in the living room. Because Xianxia had strong self-control. If a man truly loved a woman, he would think of everything for her. He would not let her get hurt at all. At that moment, Rong Junhan and Yu Jing were having a celebration dinner at home. It was Rong Junhan and Yu Jing's proudest achievement that they managed to get Shin Jinyun's companies. Cheers, cheers. The three of them were proud of themselves, especially Yu Jing. "Mom, can we carry out our new plan now? Let Shinlin leave the family with nothing." "Did you take any pictures when you were abroad? Did you do what I asked you to do?" "Of course." Yu Jing took out her phone and smiled happily. "I invited a few foreign women to lie beside him naked. He even hugged one of them and slept with her for the whole night." "Did they have sex?" "I've drugged him so strongly." "Of course it happened. The evidence is in my phone." After saying that, Yu Jing put her phone back to where it was. "Well done. It would be perfect if this foreign woman could get pregnant." But it was a pity that the mother and daughter had made their plans too early. A few days later, when Yu Jing called the Bureau of Industry and Commerce to ask why the new license had not been issued, she would know that the Shin family's company was not something that she could take over as she pleased. At that time, her expression would be interesting. It was late at night. Shinlin was still kneeling in the living room. Grandpa Shin could not stand it anymore. He walked to his grandson and pulled him up. Then he put him on the chair. "I'm a man of the Shin family. Just admit your mistake. I've forgiven your eldest uncle even though he had done so many bad things in the past. Are you a sore loser?" Shinlin raised his head and looked at Grandpa Shin. His throat felt hot. "Grandpa, what else can I do?" Chapter 189. "But Grandpa, what will happen after that?" Shinlin's tears flowed down from the corner of his eyes. "Yu Jing said that I'm a useless person. She looks down on me. Actually, I look down on myself too. If you really want to train yourself, go and join the army." Grandpa Shin patted Shinlin's shoulder and said, "Show me that you can become a good man." "All right." Shinlin nodded. Grandpa Shin's words had helped him find a new direction. "Also, the company is still in your hands. Rong and her daughter did not succeed at all." "What?" Shinlin was confused. He opened his eyes wide and looked at Grandpa Shin. But Grandpa Shen smiled and explained, "It's Chi-Chi. She made the arrangements in advance. She colluded with the people from the Industry and Commerce Bureau and lied to Yu Jing. Actually, your application to change the legal person was not accepted. You misunderstood Chi-Chi. Apologize to her later. Why did she help you so much?" Xin Lin's tears flowed down even more when he heard that. Chi-Chi is only 18. Yes. She could come up with such an idea at 18. What about you? Xin Lin wiped his tears and mustered up his courage again. Grandpa, don't worry. I've disappointed you in the past. I won't do it again. Grandpa Shen nodded and comforted him. Go to sleep. It's not too late to make amends. So, the next morning Xin Lin and Huang Yu went to the Industry and Commerce Bureau again to change the legal person. This time he was very serious and did not hesitate. Mom, you're right. I've relied on the Shen family for everything for so many years. I've done a lot of things to let you down. From now on I'll rely on my own ability and be filial to you. For Huang Yu to be able to see this scene, she was already very gratified. As long as you're sensible. Mom, come with me to the police station again. Huang Yu nodded and accompanied Xin Lin to the police station to report the case. He told the police everything. The police gave Xin Lin a suggestion based on his situation. Fortunately, your family is smart. They prevented you from losing any assets. But because of your situation, the police can only mediate between the two of you and help you get a divorce. Can't she be sentenced? The police shook their heads. The law in this country is not perfect yet, so it's hard to hold her responsible. No matter what, calling the police is always the smartest thing to do. Xin Lin was very disappointed. He really hoped that the mother and daughter would receive the punishment they deserved. After all, they had cheated him of his feelings. Would it end just like that? Huang Yu saw his unwillingness and quickly said to him, "There's no hurry. Let's go back and discuss. We'll definitely send that mother and daughter to the 18th level of hell." Mom, after a few days when I'm better, can you invite Chi-Chi over? I would like to sincerely apologize. Seeing that her son was really sensible, Huang Yu smiled and said, "Okay, Mom will help you. Also, after this matter is settled, I want to join the army while I'm still young. Mom supports you too." This was because Huang Yu knew very well that Xin Lin could only gain a strong willpower by going to the army. Only then would he be able to forget his sorrows faster. For the next few days, Xin Lin was adjusting his condition. Huang Yu also called Mu Chi-Chi and asked her to have dinner at Shen Mansion on Friday. Thinking about what happened to Xin Lin, Mu Chi-Chi could not blame him for his arrogant attitude. So she agreed to Huang Yu's request. As for the police, they were still investigating the matter. Moreover, they could not contact Yu Jing. So they could not find her. However, Yu Jing was very concerned about the new legal person license. When the 5 working days were up, she immediately called the Bureau of Industry and Commerce to ask if the license was ready. But the Bureau of Industry and Commerce could not find any information about her. "I'm sorry, Miss Yu. The computer does not have the information you provided. It's impossible. My husband and I came to the Bureau of Industry and Commerce to complete the transfer 5 days ago. I've checked several times. It's really not available. I'm sorry. You can ask your husband. What's with your attitude? Be careful or I'll file a complaint against you. If you can't find anything, then you can. Feel free to file a complaint." After that, the person hung up the phone. Yu Jing did not give up. She called again. But the person who answered the phone still gave the same answer. Yu Jing panicked. She called Rong Junhan immediately. When Rong Junhan knew about it, she brought Yu Jing to the Bureau of Industry and Commerce personally. But, not to mention the documents, even the staff who handled the registration that day was gone. The people in the Bureau of Industry and Commerce looked at the mother and daughter strangely. Yu Jing finally felt that something was wrong. She said to Rong Junhan angrily, "Mom, it's a scam. Are you saying that we've been deceived by the Shen family? It's possible. Otherwise, how can we explain this?" Rong Junhan thought for a while and nodded. "Bring your video. Let's go to the Shen family." The mother and daughter were very angry. How could they forget that they were liars? They even wanted to go to the Shen family and cause trouble. Yu Jing called Xin Lin first. But Xin Lin had already changed his number. "Bastard. How dare you do this to me? Let's go to the Shen family directly." Rong Junhan was quite arrogant. Because Yu Jing still had the evidence of Xin Lin's trouble. Even if they were going to divorce in the future, She was confident that she could make Shenlin leave the Shen family with nothing. So Shenlin's company would still be given to Yu Jing. But she did not expect that Shenlin would transfer the company to Shen Jinyun the next day. In other words, Shenlin was just a poor man now. The Shen family did not expect that the mother and daughter from the Rong family would be so shameless. How dare they come to the Shen family? Huang Yu was the first to tremble in anger. But Grandpa Shen was very calm. He immediately called Xiao Qi and asked her to go to the Shen family since she had no classes in the afternoon. Then the Shen family did not let the mother and daughter from the Rong family enter the house immediately. They asked them to wait outside the door. After a while they let them in. Rong Junhan knew that the Shen family liked this kind of trick. So she smiled when she saw the Shen family. I never expected that you're so stingy. Your son said that he would give the company to my daughter. But why do you have to put on a show in front of us when it's time to transfer the company? I'm giving you a taste of your own medicine. So you and your daughter are allowed to lie to us? Grandpa Shen snorted. You've been humiliated in the Industrial and Commercial Bureau, haven't you? My meticulous plan was guarded against by all of you. Can be said that the Shen family is very powerful. But can you make a guess? What else can my daughter use to blackmail Shenlin? Rong Junhan sat down on the chair elegantly. Her demeanor made people want to slap her face. I think you've come up with a new trick after you failed to cheat the company. It was Mu Qiqi who said that. It was because Xingting University was not far from the Shen family. So Mu Qiqi came in time to watch the show. Whether it's a new trick or not, we'll know after we watch the video. Then Rong Junhan took out her phone. But Mu Qiqi stopped her from taking it back. Madam Rong, please listen to me before you play the video. You have to think carefully. The person you are trying to blackmail is penniless. Rong Junhan looked at Mu Qiqi. Chapter 190. The company is still here. Who are you trying to fool? Company? Are you still thinking about other people's company? Of course they have changed the legal person. Are they waiting for you to snatch it? Mu Qiqi walked in front of everyone and smiled at Rong Junhan calmly. I have changed the legal person to me. You can come and ask me for it if you are capable. You. Rong Junhan almost lost control of her emotions when she heard that. But she smiled when she thought about it. So what's the difference between you and me? Aren't we doing this for the Shen family's things? I'm sorry. There is still a difference. If I ask, second uncle and second aunt will definitely give it to me. Am I right? Second uncle and second aunt? Of course. Qiqi, you are a member of the Shen family. You are different from those bitches outside. What belongs to second uncle and second aunt is also yours. Huang Yu immediately added. Moreover, you don't need it at all. You have the Xing family behind you. Even if you want the stars in the sky, there will be people who will give it to you. You are not like some people who have been plotting for more than 10 years. After Huang Yu said that, Mu Qiqi looked at Rong Junhan again. But this time her gaze was sharper. She was not like an 18-year-old girl at all. So, do you still want to expose the things in your phone? Let me remind you that you and Yu Jing can never take a single cent from the Shen family. Rong Junhan's face darkened. Because Shenlin was poor now. But even if she could not get anything from Shenlin, she could still blackmail Huang Yu and her husband. Rong Junhan calmed down when she thought about that. You can take away Shenlin's company. But you don't even want your son's reputation? The video in my hand can prove that Shenlin cheated after his marriage. He slept with another woman outside. If this video is spread out, will the Shen family still have any dignity? But Rong Junhan's words did not scare Mu Qiqi. Shenlin loves Yu Jing so much. How could he cheat on her? If you can really take a video, then it must be Yu Jing who set you up. You mother and daughter, one of you hit my father with a car and caused him to be in a vegetative state. The other one cheated Shenlin into a marriage and caused him to be hurt physically and mentally. What you have done are all dishonest things. Take the video and spread it. Let's see if anyone will still believe you. Do you want me to be a good person to the end and help you? Mu Qiqi, you're really eloquent. Rong Junhan did not have the strength to defend herself. She could only pretend to scoff coldly. Oh yes, Shenlin had reported to the police a few days ago. Don't you know that the police are looking for you? You said that Shenlin is worthless in your eyes. He's not even a man. In my eyes, you're not even human if you lie to such a man. Yu Jing's face darkened. Mu Qiqi, I know I can't win you in an argument, But don't be so arrogant. I'm arrogant. What can you do to me? After all, I'm the real granddaughter of the Shin family and I have the Xing family behind me. Can you afford to offend me? Who are you? Illegitimate daughter? Bastard? Liar? Or a slut? You, seeing that both mother and daughter were speechless, Muqiqi laughed even more happily. She turned to look at Grandpa Xing. Grandpa, you've seen enough, haven't you? Hurry up. Ask your old friends to come out and settle your grandson's matter. Can you bear to see this shameless mother and daughter riding on your grandson's head? You silly girl, I've already sent someone to investigate this matter. If this mother and daughter have any criminal records, they'll be found out. Moreover, I know how Yu Jing's father, the painter, has been hyping up his paintings all these years and how he played tricks. Rong Juanhan's face suddenly turned pale when she mentioned the criminal records. Of course, Yu Jing was not any better. Both mother and daughter had done some things that were out of line. If they were found out, the consequences would be unimaginable. I really did not expect that the Shin family is not only ungrateful but also distort the truth. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Xiaojing, let's go. Rong Junhan stood up and wanted to leave. But her unusual action reminded Muqiqi. Grandpa, investigate further. Do your best. You bad thing. The old man pointed at Muqiqi and laughed out loud. Are you in a hurry to leave? Don't you want to play the video anymore? Don't you want to blackmail me? You're crazy. I don't want to talk to you. Then Rong Junhan left with Yu Jing. However, when the two of them walked out of the Shin family's gate, Muqiqi said, Yu Jing, I hate it when people cheat their feelings and think that they are so great. Today you hurt the person who loves you the most in the world. You will regret it if you miss him. It's the saddest thing to pay for a relationship. You can imagine what will happen to you. Yu Jing turned and looked at Muqiqi. Then Rong Junhan dragged her out of the Shin family. Obviously, Rong Junhan and her daughter had made a wasted trip. Not only did they make a wasted trip, but they also lost all their bargaining chips. Now, it was impossible for them to threaten the Shin family and get any benefits from them. They might even threaten their own interests. Because soon the police contacted Yu Jing again. I didn't expect that bastard Shin Lin would really call the police. Don't worry. No one will dare to do anything to you. Just go. Rong Junhan was trembling with anger. It's all because of that bitch Muqiqi. If not, we would have gotten the Shin family's company. Rong Junhan almost broke the wooden table in front of her. He was so angry. Now the Shin family had the upper hand. She had no chance to fight back. What was more terrible was yet to come. But she could not imagine it. Was Shin Jianchuan so easy to bully? Although he had been lying in bed for more than 10 years, he had already woken up. This debt, as well as the debt of causing Su Ziqing to misunderstand him in the past, was he not going to settle it with her? Although Shin Lin was not smart enough to plot against Yu Jing, Muqiqi was smart enough. And Xing Xiao, who was behind Muqiqi, was even more outrageous. He could trample on that bitch anytime. Seeing Rong Junhan and her daughter leaving in defeat, Huang Yu felt very happy. Dad, Chichi, I've never seen Rong Junhan leave like that. So satisfying. You've even shown the video. It seems that Rong Junhan has no other trump card. Muqiqi walked to Grandpa Shin and sat beside him. Grandpa, we should strike while the iron is hot. It's not easy to find anything wrong with Rong Junhan and her daughter. So we can start from Yu Jing's father. Chapter 191. Grandpa Shin tilted his head and looked at Muqiqi. Who taught you all these? What's wrong with me? Muqiqi purposely avoided Grandpa Shin's question. If it's not because of your father or Xing Xiao, he's a vicious and evil person. Grandpa Shin pointed at Muqiqi and scolded her. I'm influenced by what I see and hear. Jing Yun would sometimes tell me about Xing. That's why I could more or less learn from him. Muqiqi really could not bring herself to call him Uncle Xing and so simply skipped it. Father, what's wrong with being like Muqiqi? He's smart. She won't suffer. It's bad for us. Huang Yu said. Then she turned to Muqiqi. She looked guilty and grateful at the same time. Chichi, it's all my fault in the past. I apologize to you. I hope you won't hold a grudge against me. Forget it. Although I'm not a generous person, you're not evil. You're just deceived by others. Shin Lin wanted to apologize to you a long time ago. I'll go and find him now. Then Huang Yu went to Shin Lin's room. But Muqiqi pouted. Grandpa, I still have classes. I'll go back to school first. I might not accept his apology. Actually, Xinlin was hiding in the dark. He was already there when Rong Junhan and Rong Junhan entered the Xin family. He was upset when he saw Mu Qiqi defeating Rong Junhan like a god of war. Because he knew that he was not as good as an 18-year-old girl. So he did not dare to show up in front of Mu Qiqi. Then he hired a lawyer to prepare the divorce agreement. Then he asked Yu Jing for compensation. He wanted Yu Jing to compensate him for his emotional loss. Even Mu Qiqi knew that she could not give in to her family. How could he continue to be a coward? The lawyer arrived at the Yu family the next day. He told Yu Jing about Xinlin's request. Yu Jing jumped up from her chair after she heard it. Is he crazy? I haven't asked him to compensate me for the loss of my youth. Miss Yu, it depends on the judge's judgment. If it's true, Mr. Xinlin has the right to ask you for compensation. Get lost, then Miss Yu will see each other in court. That was when Mu Qiqi heard about the interesting matter in the afternoon. She sighed in her heart. Xinlin finally knew how to fight back. Perhaps he was the same as her in the past. As long as he took this step, he would have a brand new life. 2 days later, Rong Junhan's dance school was smashed. No one knew exactly why and who did it. Many people guessed that it was the Xin family or Xinlin. But Mu Qiqi knew that if Xinlin was capable, he would not have endured until now. That was why she told Xianxia about her doubts when she got home, hoping that he could clear them up. Xianxia merely smiled at that. Don't you have a suitable candidate in mind? It's not Grandpa or Xinlin. Second uncle and second aunt wouldn't do such a thing. Third uncle and third aunt have nothing to do with this. So, could it be him? Mu Qiqi counted with her fingers and asked Xianxia for an answer. You already have the answer. Why are you asking me? Xianxia asked her playfully, don't you know that he used to be a vengeful person? Mu Qiqi felt that it made sense and nodded. But he can't even say a complete sentence now. That's not important as long as there's money. Rong Junhan owed Xin Jianchuan so much. If he did not seize the chance to get her back, he would feel sorry for himself. If that's the case, then my dad is too cool. Compared to me. Of course you're cooler. After all, he is an old man. Mu Qiqi sat on Xing Zhao's lap. Xiao, are you jealous? Xing Zhao was absent-minded for a moment as he held Mu Qiqi's butt. Then he answered her seriously, it's because your father is smart that he understood you so easily. And it's also because he's smart that I'm afraid we won't be able to keep our relationship a secret after he recovers. What kind of result do you want? Mu Qiqi asked Xing Zhao because she did not know what she needed to do. She did not know how high the standards of the Xing family were. Moreover, she did not know whether Xin Jianchuan would agree or disagree. Xing Zhao remained silent for a few seconds. Then he carried Mu Qiqi. I'm not worried that your father will disagree. I'm worried that he will challenge me. Are you afraid of him? Xing Zhao laughed and touched Mu Qiqi's nose. You're right. He's an old man after all. Xin Jianchuan was obviously a slave to his daughter. But he did not have a bottom line. After all, Xing Zhao and Mu Qiqi were in different generations. Moreover, Xin Jianchuan knew what kind of place the Xing family was. He wanted his daughter to be free. Of course, he had to find out about it first. Xing Zhao and Mu Qiqi guessed that the person was Xin Jianchuan. Destroying Rong Junhan's dance school was just the first step. The painter named Yu was just fishing for fame. He did not have any real talent at all. All his fame came from Rong Junhan's money. So it would be easy to destroy him. So it was just a piece of cake. Although Xin Jianchuan was lying on the bed all day, the nurses told him all the gossip. Moreover, Grandpa Xin investigated them. So Xin Jianchuan could find a way to deal with them. Grandpa Xin also guessed that it was his eldest brother. So he pretended to ask him when the Xins were not around. Did you ask someone to destroy the school? I can't move at all now. Are you lying to me? You still have your friends. What can't you do as long as you can get in touch with them? Grandpa Xin winked at him. Why haven't you changed after so many years? Xin Jianchuan did not deny it. There was nothing to hide in front of his father. He could only answer Grandpa Xin slowly. I have been sick for more than 10 years. I have lost more than 10 years of youth. Let alone destroying a school, this is just the beginning. Rong Junhan owes me. She must pay me back. Grandpa Xin nodded. Qiqi and I will not care about your revenge. Don't drag your daughter into this. I won't let Qiqi know. How can Qiqi not know? That girl is just like you. She is very smart. Grandpa Shen snorted. But there was a hint of satisfaction in his snort. He must be smart. Otherwise she would be bullied. Rong Junhan was the most furious one now. Her years of hard work had been destroyed. She did not know how much she would lose. She guessed that it was the Shen family. But she could not guess which Shen it was. The most likely one was Mu Qiqi. But she felt that it was not Mu Qiqi's style. It was like Shen Jianchuan in his early years. Chapter 192. Not only Rong Junhan's dance school, but Papa Yu's art gallery was also affected. The news of Yu Jing's deceitful marriage was plastered all over the Yu family's house. It made people understand why Rong Junhan's dance school was destroyed and Papa Yu's art gallery was destroyed. It was all because Yu Jing cheated people's feelings and money. Rong Junhan and her family were very angry. But they could not find out who did it. They did not know what kind of tricks they had up their sleeves. Yu Jing had to wear a hat and a mask when she went out these 2 days. Because the people around her were all pointing at her and avoiding her. Look, it's that bad auntie. We are not going to school here today. It's that little b** teach again. I heard that she cheated a rich young master and made him bankrupt. He will go to hell after he dies. How could she cheat money with that kind of looks? That rich young master is so gullible. Not only that, the Yu family's house was splashed with dog's blood recently. People even wrote b** teeth on the wall of the house. What was worse was that people even smashed the glass with stones. Yu Jing could not bear it anymore. Shen Lin is such a coward. How dare he let the Shins treat me like this? He even said that he will love me for the rest of his life. I haven't divorced that bastard yet. Aren't they afraid of being struck by lightning for doing this? Seeing that Yu Jing was so angry, Rong Junhan quickly went to her and sat down beside her. She tried to calm her down. Our plan failed this time. We have lost everything. Xiao Jing, you should find a good family as soon as possible and make plans for your future. What plans do I have? If I see a good man, I will go after him. Yu Jing did not care. She was very confident that she could flirt with men. Last night I saw a handsome man in a nightclub. Girls should not go to that kind of place. Rong Junhan said unhappily. Mom, I restrained myself in order to play the role of a good wife to Shen Lin, right? What happened in the end? I did not get anything. So why should I restrain myself? Yu Jing continued to be confident. Anyway, even if Shen Lin was gone, there was still a big world with millions of men. Rong Junhan could not control her. She could only let her be. That night Yu Jing went to the nightclub she went to last night. She wanted to meet the handsome man from before. She had to admit that she was really lucky. She managed to hook such a handsome mixed-race man. The two of them flirted with each other. Yu Jing drank a lot of alcohol. When she woke up the next day, there were 4 or 5 men sleeping beside her. They were all naked. She had no idea that this matter had been deliberately arranged by someone to return an eye for an eye. Perhaps this family did not even know that their own hell had quietly begun. Since Shen Jianchuan had already woken up, then of course he could choose to slowly torture this family of 3. If they did not go crazy, they would not survive. When Mu Qiqi went to the hospital to visit her father again, he spoke much better. It seems that in less than a year and a half, you can be completely like a normal person. Mu Qiqi smiled at Shen Jianchuan as she scooped some soup for him. Shen Jianchuan was satisfied when he saw his daughter. But he said, I hope that I can lie down forever. Then you can come and see me often. I can also come and see you often when you are well. Actually, Mu Qiqi really wanted to know if the series of bad luck that Rong Junhan had experienced was really related to her father. Do you have any questions? Shen Jianchuan could see that his daughter wanted to say something. About Rong Junhan and her daughter. Speaking of this, give the thing under my pillow to Shen Lin. Shen Jianchuan ordered Mu Qiqi. What? Mu Qiqi reached out her hand and found a small USB flash drive. What's in it? It's not suitable for children. But at least it helped Shen Lin to vent his anger. Mu Qiqi nodded and kept the USB flash drive. Then she asked Shen Jianchuan, Dad, how much do you plan to deal with Rong Junhan and her family? Shen Jianchuan could not answer her. He could not answer her. Who knew? Let's see how happy he was. When Mu Qiqi saw that he did not speak, she knew that he must be hiding a sinister scheme in his mind. In this aspect, he and Xiaoxiao were too similar. Both of them were people who refused to be taken advantage of, and they would definitely take revenge. Do you have a boyfriend? Mu Qiqi was stunned by Shin Jianchuan's sudden question. Mu Qiqi did not have time to answer him. But Shin Jianchuan had already noticed something. Does this mean that you have a boyfriend? Whose child is it? Dad, you should drink the soup. Mu Qiqi stuffed his mouth with the soup. She stopped him from asking any more questions. Shin Jianchuan did not want to be an annoying father. He just shut his mouth. It was too easy to investigate. But he did not want his daughter to be disappointed in him. After Mu Qiqi came out of the hospital, she took the things and went to Shin Mansion. Although Shin Lin did not know how to face her, Mu Qiqi was a generous person. She took the initiative to greet him. My father asked me to give this to you. He said that he wants to help you to vent your anger. Shin Lin took the things and looked at Mu Qiqi. In the end, he sighed and apologized. I'm sorry for what happened just now. Although I don't like you, you didn't do anything to me. That's a different matter. Mu Qiqi replied. Moreover, your task now is to deal with your relationship with Yu Jing. You can settle the score with me in the future. Anyway, you still have a long way to go. Qiqi. Thank you. If you really want to thank me, then pluck up your courage and be a decent man. That way I'll look up to you even more. Yu Jing, that bitch, I want to beat her up every time I see her. You should really fight back and let me watch the show. I think it's good too. I try. They had been in love for a long time and they had sacrificed so much. It was not easy to let go. Mu Qiqi did not force him. After all, it was Shin Lin's personal matter. It had nothing to do with her. But now, when she went to Shin Mansion, apart from Grandpa Shin's love, Huang Yu and Shin Jinyun also served her well. They really treated Mu Qiqi like their own daughter. Because of that, Mu Qiqi's status in the Shin family rose. Of course, some were happy and some were sad. Seeing that Mu Qiqi was so popular, third daughter-in-law started to feel bad. Although she had been as quiet as a chicken over the last few days, quietly observing how things would develop, the old man would probably only remember Mu Qiqi as his granddaughter in the end and forget about her own daughter. That was not a good thing. Mu Qiqi helped to get rid of Rong Junhan. Of course they should thank her. But they had to be careful. The Shin family asked Mu Qiqi to stay for dinner. But Mu Qiqi rejected them. She said that she wanted to go home and have dinner with her aunt. But Su Zipei and Lu Wenhua were together now. She did not need to be the third wheel anymore. But Mu Qiqi insisted. So the Shin family did not ask her to stay. Chapter 193. Grandpa Shin looked at Mu Qiqi's back as she left. His expression was unfathomable. Mu Qiqi was not in a relationship. She and Xianxia had been living together for some time now, and they had sex almost every night. She was thirsty for more. She rushed home because Xianxia told her that he would bring her to a new place for a date. So many things had happened recently. They did not have the chance to go out and have fun. Xianxia was also in a hurry. Mama Xing could still see her son's figure in Huang Yao. But in the next second she could only see his yellow sports car speeding past. Mama Xing sighed helplessly. But when she turned around she saw Jing Yun. Jing Yun saw Mama Xing too. At that moment he regretted that he did not leave the company 5 minutes later. Jing Yun, what is Xianxia busy with these days? He always comes and goes in a hurry. Madam, I'm not sure. Isn't young master always like this? Jing Yun was still trying to avoid the topic. You're right. By the way, you should bring the girl from the Shin family who doesn't share the same surname as you. She's quite popular these days. She helped old Shin solve Rong Junhan's problem. I'd like to meet such an amazing 18-year-old girl. Yes, madam. The Shin family and the Xing family had a good relationship. Mama Xing had met all the members of the Shin family. So she was curious when Mu Qiqi appeared. She wanted to hear about her interesting stories. But she did not know that this 18-year-old girl was her daughter-in-law. Actually, Jing Yun was also very anxious. He was not as calm as he looked. He was afraid that Mu Qiqi would not know her place and leave a bad impression on the Xing family. Then it would be harder for her to marry into the Shin family. But he could not find an excuse when Madame asked him again and again, could he? Did he think that Xianxia did not have a good plan? At night, Xianxia drove Mu Qiqi. When they went out, he asked her to wear a black miniskirt with high heels and put on makeup. Mu Qiqi saw Xianxia wearing a blue striped suit. He looked very formal. She could not help but ask, who are we going to meet? We are going to an art exhibition. Are you interested? Xianxia said mysteriously. Who is going to hold an art exhibition at night? Xianxia smiled. His handsome face looked especially sexy and charming at that moment. Soon they arrived at the Black Maple Gallery. However, Xianxia did not bring Mu Qiqi in. Instead they sat down at the Western restaurant opposite the gallery. Since he had booked the whole place and the restaurant was open air, they could clearly see the opposite side. Hence Xianxia was in a good mood. But Mu Qiqi was puzzled. She held her chin and looked at him. Are you not going to tell me anything? Papa Yu is holding an art exhibition here today. So, I brought you here to watch a show. Xianxia picked up the glass of red wine and aimed it at the gallery opposite. How did you know there would be a good show? Does I trust my instincts? Xianxia pointed at his head. Why did Papa Yu have to be so careful? It was because he was afraid that someone would come and cause trouble again. His own gallery was destroyed, and now he wanted to borrow someone else's gallery for the exhibition. Moreover, he decided to hold the exhibition at night. This was to ensure that everything would go smoothly during the exhibition. By keeping a low profile, it was not easy to attract attention. However, to his surprise, a group of reporters came to the art exhibition. When they saw Papa Yu, they went up to him to interview him. Mr. Yu, I heard that your daughter is suspected of marriage fraud. Is it true? Mr. Yu, I heard that you and your lover from many years ago had an affair and worked together to cheat the Xin family's company. Is that true? Mr. Yu, there are rumors that your paintings were created through improper means. What do you think of it? Papa Yu was surrounded by the reporters. He immediately called the security guards. But there were too many reporters and the security guards were limited. In the end, Papa Yu could only shout, "Nonsense. You are all talking nonsense. Where did you hear that? Do you believe that I can sue you for slander? Mr. Yu, you can sue us if you want. But you have to answer our question first. It seems that the gallery opposite is very lively." Xianxia smiled as he elegantly cut the beef. I saw a lot of reporters there. Mu Qiqi saw it clearly. There are about a dozen of them. I'm afraid that the security guards in the gallery are not enough. Soon Papa Yu could not take it anymore. He asked the security guards to clear the way for him. He wanted to leave first. However, the reporters rushed out of the art gallery and pushed Papa Yu down the stairs. The stairs were not high, but Papa Yu rolled into the middle of the road. If the driver did not stop the car in time, he would have died under the wheels. Although his life was not in danger, he was seriously injured. Soon, Papa Yu was sent to the hospital. Almost. Little rascal, are you feeling sorry for him? Xianxia asked, amused. I don't want to kill him. It's not bad to break his limbs and let him suffer. Xianxia put the steak on her plate and pinched her nose. Hurry up and eat. Once you finish eating, I will fulfill your wish. In fact, Papa Yu's hand was crushed by the wheels. It was just that Mu Qiqi did not see it. Moreover, it was his right hand. When he was sent to the emergency room, Papa Yu was diagnosed with a comminuted fracture of the last 3 fingers on his right hand. Although it could be cured, it would leave a sequela if it was not cured. Rong Junhan and Yu Jing arrived at the hospital soon. When they saw Papa Yu's hand, they asked quickly, how did he get a comminuted fracture? Reporters. It's all those damn reporters' fault. It must be the Xin family's doing. Papa Yu shouted in pain. The Xin family wants to torture us bit by bit. They don't want us to live well. Rong Junhan turned around angrily after she heard that. Xiaojing, take care of your father. I will go to the Xin family. But who would admit that it was the Xin family? Soon Mu Qiqi knew about Papa Yu's injury. She looked at Xianxia in surprise. He really got a fracture. Idiot. Xianxia looked at her in disdain. But there was a hint of affection in his eyes. Now that Papa Yu is injured, I'm afraid Rong Junhan will go to the Xin family. Let your grandfather deal with it. We just need to watch the show. I'm afraid that this family will go crazy soon. Xianxia believed in Xin Jianchuan's ability to torture people. Moreover, they had a grudge for more than 10 years. Because Xin Jianchuan was not torturing Rong Junhan and her family physically. Instead, he was destroying their minds bit by bit. Everything they did was not going well. Moreover, they were being troubled everywhere. Their living conditions were getting worse. Chapter 194. Rong Junhan drove straight to Xin Mansion from the hospital. But Grandpa Shen had ordered the sentries to not let anyone from the Rong family enter Shen Mansion as they pleased after she came with Yu Jing to make a scene. So it was almost impossible for Rong Junhan to enter Shen Mansion. Rong Junhan was furious. But she was stopped at the gate of the Shen family. She was not happy. She pointed at the guard at the gate and scolded, "You old bastard. Do the Shens only know such despicable tricks? Come at me if you dare. Let me in. Huang Yu, come out now. And Mu Chichi, that bastard. Little bitch." But no matter how she shouted, no one in the Shen family cared about her. In the end, no one from the Shen family came out even when her voice was hoarse. Was there any need to care about her? Absolutely not. Grandpa Shen was in his study. Because Mu Chichi had asked him to dig deeper into Rong Junhan, Grandpa Shen expanded the scope to the whole Rong family. Now he was reading the results of the investigation. No wonder Rong Junhan left in a hurry that day. She was afraid that Grandpa Shen would find out about Rong Group's tax evasion. It was her brother who was the mastermind. But her brother was a drunkard. He could not hide the truth when he was drunk. So he was the one who found out the truth bit by bit. Good boy. Not bad. Grandpa Shen took off his glasses after reading the information. Then he called the police. Did he still need to give face to the Rong family? He did not need to. Rong Junhan did not expect that the higher-ups would send someone to investigate Rong Group's tax issue just an hour after her lover injured his hand. Then she received a call for help from her brother. "Sister, you must help me. Something happened to the company. The company is fine. What could happen?" Rong Junhan was anxious now. She was getting impatient. "I don't know who reported us. Now we are being interrogated by the police about the tax issue." Rong Junhan was stunned when she heard the word tax. She dropped her phone. No, Rong Junhan said. Then she picked up her phone from the ground. She told her brother, "Stay calm. I will come over now. Sis, it's too late. I'm going to be taken back for questioning now." Rong Junhan felt as if she had been struck by lightning. Because Rong Group was her last trump card. If she lost Rong Group, she would have nothing left. Soon Rong Junhan called her lawyer. The lawyer stayed silent for a few seconds after he heard about it. Then he said, "I've told you before that you can't do this kind of thing. But you didn't believe me and came to me now. What can I do? The amount of tax evasion by the Rong Group is no longer a matter of fines and compensation. You will have to go to jail. You and your brother at least 3 years, at most 7 years." Rong Junhan's legs were weak. She could only beg the lawyer. "Lawyer, and please help me. This isn't a private lawsuit. I'll quit, okay?" After that, the other party hung up the phone. Rong Junhan called out a few times, but there was no response. Even her lawyer could not stand it anymore. Papa Yu's hand was injured, so he would not be able to paint in a short period of time. Moreover, Yu Jing was in such a state, so the father and daughter could not help her at all. Thinking about that, Rong Junhan's heart sank. No, she should ask her friends for help. Maybe they could still be saved. But who would be willing to help them now? Were their friends stupid? Soon Mu Chichi knew about what happened to the Rong family. Of course, she clapped her hands and cheered. Rong Junhan had framed the Shen family. Now she was the one who was humiliated by the Shen family. But it was not the Shen family's fault. It was Rong Junhan's own fault, wasn't it? Mu Chichi followed Grandpa Shen's order to go to the Shen family for dinner. But she wanted to know who was the culprit this time. Grandpa Shen sneered while he was eating. "Didn't you ask me to dig deeper? Then I found out the truth. Then I made a phone call to report the culprit." Mu Chichi laughed and gave Grandpa Shen a thumbs up. "Grandpa, you're so good at it." "Humph." Grandpa Shen snorted. Then he thought of something and said to Mu Chichi, "Don't go to class next Saturday. Accompany me to a birthday party and visit an old comrade. Father, Rui is coming home soon. Let her go with you." Third aunt said to Grandpa Shen immediately. "Although Chi-Chi's family background is not low, the birthday party you are going to will be attended by guests with powerful backgrounds. I'm afraid that she won't know how to deal with them if they ask about her background." Third aunt looked like she was kind enough to prevent Mu Chi-Chi from being embarrassed. But in fact she wanted to remind Grandpa Shen that he had another granddaughter. He should not be biased. Grandpa Shen finished his soup and looked at third aunt. He was suspicious. "Are you afraid that I can't take good care of Chi-Chi? Or are you mocking Chi-Chi for not being presentable?" "Father, I don't mean that. Rui is my granddaughter. You don't need to remind her. Even if she comes back, the Xin family will still be her home. But this will not affect my decision to bring Qiqi to the birthday party. Grandpa Xin was obviously unhappy. Actually, Mu Qiqi did not really want to go to the birthday party. She preferred to stay at home with her aunt and Xianxia. It's decided then. Xiaoqi will go with me on Saturday. I'll introduce you to the boy from the Lin family. If you can date him, Grandpa Xin will be very happy. Grandpa Xin actually had such an intention. So Mu Qiqi immediately said with a sad face, Grandpa, I'm still young. I'm just a freshman. You can get to know each other and date him for 3 to 4 years. Then you can get married, right? Otherwise you'll become an old lady like your aunt. Mu Qiqi felt helpless. She did not know if Grandpa Xin was being conservative or old-fashioned. Mu Qiqi had Xianxia. Of course she did not need other resources. But third aunt was very jealous of her. Xin Rui was older than Mu Qiqi. It was because the second and third sons of the Xin family got married earlier than Xin Jianchuan. So their children should be older. Why did Grandpa Xin not introduce the young master of the Lin family to Rui? Instead he introduced Mu Qiqi, who was not even 19 years old? Wasn't he being biased? Huang Yu and Xin Jinyun did not think that way, but third daughter-in-law was very unhappy about it. Speaking of appearance, talent and family background, Xin Rui was not as good as Mu Qiqi. Grandpa Xin could really do it. But Mu Qiqi could see that third aunt was unhappy. So she said, why don't I talk to Grandpa? I don't need your fake kindness. Chapter 195. Although she did not want to go, she did not want third aunt to take advantage of her. So after third aunt left, Mu Qiqi said to Huang Yu, why don't I ask Grandpa to bring your daughter instead? She is only 17. Why would she need it? Huang Yu smiled. But Xiaoqi, tell me the truth. Do you already have someone you like? Mu Qiqi was stunned. She did not answer. If the Xin family knew that she had such a relationship with Xianxia, would they feel that it was a disgrace to the family? Would they chase her out immediately? You can say that. Mu Qiqi answered mysteriously. But you can't ask me who it is. When I grow up I will pursue it myself. You are so young. Huang Yu did not continue asking. Of course she would not think about Xianxia. Although they had some history, the crown prince of Huangya was not someone that a little girl like Mu Qiqi could win over. So Mu Qiqi managed to escape. When she got home, Xianxia was already at home. He was wearing a black shirt and sitting in the living room. He was reading the documents with all his attention. But he did not ignore the little figure that walked in. You're back. Mu Qiqi was mesmerized by his serious look, especially when he was wearing a black shirt. That kind of abstinence made people not dare to get close to him, but they could not help but look at him a few more times. It was really fascinating. But Mu Qiqi remembered what Grandpa Xin said today. So she walked up to Xianxia and took the documents from his hands. Then she straddled him and said, Grandpa is bringing me to some birthday party. And what? Xianxia asked her dangerously. And he said that he is going to introduce a boyfriend to me. Mu Qiqi lowered her head and drew circles in the air with her index finger. You want to go? Xianxia lifted her chin and asked. Are you tired of living? Xianxia carried her from the sofa and pinned her against the wall. He punished her harshly. Have you forgotten who your man is? How can I forget? Mu Qiqi quickly explained. Xiaoxiao, I have worked so hard to get you. How can I go and see someone else? Did you chase me? Xianxia snorted coldly. I was the one who protected and spoiled you. You still dare to go on a blind date? I'm catching up. I've had a crush on you for so long. Can't you feel how deep my feelings for you are? This time Xianxia found it interesting. How deep? How am I supposed to express my gratitude? You only know how to bully me. At that, Xianxia picked her up and put her on the big bed in the bedroom. He had thought that there would be a round of kisses, but he simply flipped her over, lifted her skirt and gave her a few tight slaps on her buttocks. Mu Qiqi was in so much pain that she was in tears. You bully me. Xianxia knew that she was in pain, so he helped her massage it again. I'll teach you a lesson. How do you know I have no memory? I remember it. I remember it even if I have to go to the ends of the earth. My man is Xianxia. He's an arrogant demon, but he's also a meticulous man. He loves to tease me the most, but I find him very charming. At her words, Xianxia leaned over and kissed her red buttocks. Muqiqi blushed and quickly covered her mouth. I haven't showered yet. Which part of your body have I not kissed? Xianxia said in disdain. Then he carried Muqiqi into the bedroom and put her in the bathtub. You can go to the birthday banquet, but I know what I'm doing. Muqiqi quickly raised her hand and swore. I just want to get to know more people, but I won't look at another man. Xianxia snorted. He was satisfied. It was not because he was being generous, but because the Xing family was also on the invitation list. Before this, he had thought that this kind of occasion was boring. It seemed that he would have to snatch the invitation from sixth brother's hands. By the way, Xiao, shouldn't we send a gift to Aunt Zipei now that she is getting married? Xianxia nodded when he heard the word, we. His gaze softened. Because Muqiqi saw the two of them as a whole. To Muqiqi he was the head of the family and her husband. And to Su Zipei he was her niece's son-in-law. What is Aunt Zipei like? Aunt Zipei has everything. She just wants us to be happy. Muqiqi said as she lay on the bathtub. Then let's give her a peace of mind. I'll leave it to you. Muqiqi grabbed Xingxiao's hand and rested her head on the back of his hand. Soon she fell asleep. Xianxia helped his little one with her bath and went to the study to ask Jingyun to prepare a gift. It did not need to be expensive, but it was a sincere blessing. He believed that Su Zipei would like it. Then he looked at Muqiqi, who was sleeping soundly on the bed. But Xianxia was not in a hurry to sleep. It was because Grandpa Shen was too unreliable this time. He was only 19 years old. How could this old man be so eager to find a grandson-in-law? If Grandpa Shen scared him like this, he should not blame him for giving Grandpa Shen a headache. It was already late at night. But Rong Junhan had asked most of her relatives and friends to save her brother. But none of them would help her. Rong Junhan was very anxious. But she did not stop until she reached her sister-in-law's house. My daughter has divorced your brother. How dare you come here? You deserve what happened to the Rong family. She sneered at her. I really want to set off firecrackers. What did the Rong family say when your brother humiliated my daughter? Oh, it's karma. Rong Junhan knew it would be like this. But she did not have the time and energy to quarrel with them. She could only walk out of the house. This family doesn't even change the lights in the stairwell. I'm afraid they are too poor to save my brother. Rong Junhan said angrily. Then she turned on the flashlight on her phone. But she was pushed by someone from behind. She screamed and rolled down the stairs. He would not be so lucky this time. She could be forgiven if she did not do so many bad things in the past. If she had not done so many bad things in the past, she would not have to pay for it like this today. Soon Yu Jing received the news that Rong Junhan was injured. Her father had just come in and Rong Junhan had many fractures in her body. Yu Jing could not hold it anymore. She broke down and cried. Muqiqi felt that she could not accept the news. The Rong family was investigated yesterday. Today Rong Junhan was admitted to the hospital with fractures. Would she be sent to jail tomorrow? Was Rong Junhan really unlucky, or she felt that her father would not be so fast? Maybe Rong Junhan was really unlucky. On the other hand, Yu Jing did not know what to do. The only person she could think of was Shen Lin. Chapter 196. But she did not have Shen Lin's contact number now. So she could only beg the Shen family for help. Especially when she heard that her uncle was arrested. Now she saw Rong Junhan lying on the bed. He was at a loss. She just wanted to rely on someone else. At this moment, who else would be willing to give her support? Of course it was Shen Lin. Yu Jing took a taxi and went to the Shen family. But she was not allowed to enter the house. She cried and threw a tantrum. The guards at the door did not dare to touch her. So they could only inform Grandpa Shen. But Grandpa Shen did not care about this. He asked Huang Yu to settle the debt she owed. Huang Yu looked at her son. Although Shen Lin did not say anything, she knew that he wanted to end things with Yu Jing once and for all. Shen Lin was humiliated and trampled on like that. Even Muqiqi hoped that he could muster up his courage and say no to this woman. How could he let his parents and family down? So Shen Lin still told Huang Yu after she hesitated. Mother, let me go. Can you really handle it? Huang Yu was afraid that her son would be soft-hearted. Shen Lin did not hide his emotions. But he insisted. Just let me go. I want to know the truth. I understand what you mean. Go ahead. Huang Yu nodded. Xinlin could guess why Yu Jing came to him. Now the Rong family was declining. Her parents and uncle were in trouble. She needed someone to rely on. This woman always relied on others to live. She did not want to take responsibility. She was like a parasite. Xinlin walked to the door of the Shin family. He saw Yu Jing squatting on the ground. But there was no joy in his eyes. There was only hatred and anger. When Yu Jing saw Xinlin, she immediately went forward and hugged his legs. She said, Xinlin, you finally came out to see me. I knew that you would come out. You did not want to leave me behind. Xinlin did not move. He let Yu Jing hug him. He felt that it was ironic when he thought of how Yu Jing humiliated him that day. I remember clearly that day. You said that I did not achieve anything. I have no skills. I only know how to ask my parents for money. I only said those words out of anger. But I think you're right. Xinlin sneered. How can a lowly man like me be worthy of you kneeling down on your noble knees and begging me for mercy? As Xinlin spoke, he pinched Yu Jing's chin and said, Don't you want your dignity anymore? Do you have any sense of shame? Do you know how to write the word cheap? Xinlin. For the past few days I've been wondering why a useless man like me would fall for you. Now I finally understand. It's because you don't have any skills and your skills in bed are like a dead fish. Not only do you ask your parents for money, but you also cheat other men of their money. What right do you have to look down on me? Yu Jing was in tears. Her chin was pinched and she could not say a word. Look, your uncle is down and your parents are injured, but didn't you still come to find me? You said I'm cheap, but are you even more cheap than me? Xinlin, don't you love me anymore? Love. Xinlin sneered and looked up at the sky. Then he answered Yu Jing, Didn't you destroy my little love? Compared to your humiliation, my little love is nothing. Do you really think you're a beauty? Do you really think I can't live without you? Yu Jing looked carefully. My Shin family is powerful and influential. Do you think I, Xinlin, lack women? Yes, I was lied to by you before, but I can get a divorce. After the divorce, there will still be people who like me because I will become better and better. But what about you? You're going to sink into the mud, and then fall into hell. Why do I still like you like this? After hearing what Xinlin said, Yu Jing quickly confessed to him, I'll change. I won't say those cheap words anymore. I'll really change. Believe me. Thinking about the woman in front of him and thinking about his past, Xinlin only felt that everything was so ridiculous and worthless. What he sacrificed everything for was actually such a thing. Finally, he felt relieved and got rid of Yu Jing. I don't want to see you again. Don't ever let me see you again. Xinlin, get lost. This time Xinlin was very determined. What true love. What faithful love. In front of money it seemed so fragile. Yu Jing was still shouting behind him. But Xinlin could not hear her anymore. It was really not worth it to be dragged into hell by such a person. Huang Yu saw her son coming back as she wished. She also knew that Yu Jing was still crying outside. Since her son had made a decision, she was relieved. Join the army next spring. Try to be a man of indomitable spirit. Don't let your grandfather down again. Xinlin held Huang Yu's hand and nodded. Don't worry, Mom. It's enough to be silly once. I won't be silly again. Chi-Chi is your sister. She deserves your protection. Repay her in the future. I will. Once something was kept in a man's heart, it would be a promise for a lifetime. Mu Chi-Chi protected his parents and exposed his fake marriage. He would certainly remember her kindness for the rest of his life. In the future, if someone in the Shin family bullied Mu Chi-Chi, he would be the first one to speak up for her. Your eldest cousin is coming back. Look at third brother. I don't think he likes Mu Chi-Chi very much. Help him to keep an eye on her. Okay. Go back to your room. Huang Yu patted her son's shoulder and reminded him to rest. As for Yu Jing, who was outside the door, she would just let her fend for herself. Speaking of Xinlin's eldest cousin Xinrui, she was very studious. She had completed all the courses in the university at a young age. Now she was a postgraduate student. She was widely acknowledged as a talented girl. Grandpa Xin had no reason to dislike such a granddaughter. But deep down he loved Mu Chi-Chi more. It was because Xinrui grew up in a honeypot. But Mu Chi-Chi was not. Because Grandpa Xin liked Mu Chi-Chi more, third sister was so anxious. She urged her daughter to go home. She had already found the handsome young man in the Lin family for her daughter. She could not let Muqiqi have it. But Xinrui did not agree. Mom, I will definitely go home tomorrow. But, can you not make a match for me? I don't like that kind of handsome young man. Then who do you like? I don't want to talk to you anymore. Xinrui could not communicate with her mother at all. Oh yeah, the new cousin is called Muqiqi, right? What is she like? I will bring some back for her. It's none of your business what she likes. I'm warning you. Don't have too much contact with her. Chapter 197. But Xinrui did not think so. She had to get close to Muqiqi, because Muqiqi was related to the Xing family. So she went to a luxury shop in France and bought some toys for Muqiqi despite her mother's objection. She wanted to give them to Muqiqi as a gift. Muqiqi knew that her cousin was coming back. So she asked Xianxia about her. But Xianxia only answered her, I don't know her. Xinrui had a lot of experience in school. She was talented and well-educated. She was not like third aunt's daughter at all. But she was just normal. She did not have any personality at all. Moreover, Xianxia rarely paid attention to the girls in the Xin family except for Muqiqi. He spent more time with the men. Muqiqi nodded after getting the answer. All right. I'll have to find out more about her myself. I hope that she is really different from third aunt. When Xinrui reached home, it was already nighttime in Jianchuan. The first thing she did was to kiss Grandpa Shen. I'm back. Grandpa Shen was happy to see his granddaughter. You're getting more and more beautiful. That's right. Even I haven't seen you in almost half a year. Huang Yu reached out and pulled her daughter into a hug. Xinrui greeted everyone in the family. But she did not see Muqiqi. Didn't you say that there's a new member in the family? She's still on the way, said Grandpa Shen. But third aunt's expression changed. She did not like her daughter to have too much interaction with Muqiqi. So she whispered to Xinrui, didn't I tell you not to mind other people's business? Xinrui would not listen to her. After a while she started chatting with Shenlin. Soon Muqiqi appeared at the entrance of the Shen family. She came here with the intention to meet this talented lady. She heard that Xinrui was a talented lady. She entered the living room and saw a tall girl with a confident smile. Muqiqi had a good first impression of her. She was tall and had an oval face. She had long hair and was dressed in an exotic way. She must have good taste. Xinrui took out a gift when she saw Muqiqi. She walked toward her and said, this is for you. Welcome. Ui. Third aunt was furious. Muqiqi looked at the gift box in her hand. It was a famous watch. She immediately replied, this is too expensive. We're sisters, there's no need to be so polite. Xinrui was very friendly. She was confident and generous. She really had the demeanor of the Xin family's young lady. It was no wonder that third aunt was jealous of Grandpa Shen's love for her. She really hoped that Grandpa Shen would pay more attention to such an outstanding daughter. It's time to eat. Let's talk while we eat. Xinrui held Muqiqi's hand and sat down at the dining table. She accidentally noticed the tattoo on Muqiqi's earlobe. She was surprised. Is this Uncle Xing Jiaxiao's English name? You know about it. Muqiqi was surprised because Xiaoxiao said that very few people knew about his name. I saw him sign it when I went to the Xing family a few years ago. Why did you tattoo it on your ear? Fortunately, she had explained about the tattoo before. Otherwise, she would not be able to hide it anymore if she was exposed. She admires her savior. Grandpa Shen explained for Muqiqi. But Xing Xiao deserves to be her idol. It's fate. Xinrui smiled. She took the red wine and toasted Muqiqi. It's our first time meeting. I hope that we can take care of each other in the future. Muqiqi did not know why. Although Xinrui had explained it to her, she still felt that something was not right. A woman's intuition was very accurate sometimes. So even though Xinrui was so friendly to her, she was still cautious. She was not the old Muqiqi who only knew how to look at a person's appearance. So, although she seemed to agree with Xinrui on the surface, she was still suspicious of her cousin. Rui, Grandpa Lin is going to celebrate his 70th birthday soon. But he doesn't want to bring you along. Third aunt took the opportunity to stir up trouble. I was thinking that since you like Chi-Chi so much, why don't you two go? Then you can take care of her. I was thinking that you're a talented girl in the literature department. You're also considerate. If Chi-Chi makes any mistakes, you can make up for it. You're even comparing this. Huang Yu smiled. Chi-Chi is a genius in science. Don't you know how many marks she got into Xingting University? It's because Chi-Chi is a science student. She doesn't have a high EQ. That's why I asked Rui to help her. Isn't it for the good of the Shin family? Chi-Chi has a high EQ. It's not a problem. Huang Yu refuted. All right. You have to quarrel over such a small matter. Rui, let's go together. Grandpa Shin decided that since his granddaughter was back, it was reasonable for her to meet the elders. But he never thought that Mu Chi-Chi needed someone to take care of her. He knew that this sly girl was weird and cunning. That's more like it. Third aunt felt better. Adults are always so boring. Shin Rui did not show that she wanted to go. But she did not say that she would not go either. Mu Chi-Chi could not tell which side she was on at the moment, but she had a feeling that her cousin was not as simple as she looked. So soon Mu Chi-Chi found an excuse to go home to accompany her aunt. Then she left the Shin family and went back to her new home. When she saw Xianxia, she climbed onto his lap and asked, "Does Shin Rui know that it's your English name?" Xianxia looked at her angry face. Then he pointed at the tattoo on his collarbone and asked her, "Does Shin Rui know that it's your English name?" Xiao, let me be honest with you. I don't like Shin Rui. I don't know why, but I feel that she is being nice to me. She has a purpose. You see, she gave me a lot of gifts when we first met. But when the others in the Shin family knew about my existence, they all frowned at me. Since you don't like it, you should give her something of the same value. Consider it as a return gift. Then you won't feel uneasy and feel that you owe her a favor. My little one, do you still lack these things? Mu Chi-Chi thought about it and felt that it was reasonable. These powerful families are so complicated. You grew up in the Mu family. You should be familiar with these things. Aren't you used to it? Xianxia hugged her and comforted her. Chapter 198. Shin Rui was too nice to Mu Chi-Chi. Third aunt was puzzled. After the family dinner, she went to her daughter's room and asked, "Do you really like Mu Chi-Chi? Why didn't you think of buying them for your parents when you bought them for her? Or are you just trying to stall for time? Do you have an ulterior motive?" Shin Rui was removing her makeup at the dressing table. She felt helpless after she heard what her mother said. "Mother, why do you think of me like that? Mu Chi-Chi is very likable. Don't always pick on her. It's your first time meeting her. How do you know what kind of person she is?" "Mother, I'm very tired today. Please let me go," Shin Rui said coquettishly. She knew her mother's weakness. As expected, third aunt took a deep breath and calmed herself down. "Then you should rest. But don't be nice to her when you go to the birthday party. You're just a bastard. How dare you try to ride on the daughter of the family?" "Mother, I know. You should go back to your room now." Third aunt was helpless. She could only leave her daughter's room. But she was not willing to let Mu Chi-Chi go to the birthday party and steal her daughter's spotlight. Her daughter must be the prettiest one that day. She wanted to win young Master Lin's heart. But she did not know that her daughter's ambition was never to be a young master of the Lin family. The next day, Su Zipei and Lu Wenhua received a gift from Xianxia. It was a set of exquisite but not luxurious jewelry. It was something that a woman would wear when she got married. Everything was exquisite and Su Zipei liked it very much. Young Master Xing is so considerate. He is born in a rich family, but he can understand other people's difficulties and needs. He is so considerate. This niece-in-law is so considerate. Lu Wenhua hugged Su Zipei and said to her, "I don't have any children and I don't have any relatives. Now that I have you, of course I will love Chi-Chi more. As for young Master Xing, he is not an ordinary person. I only hope that with our support, Chi-Chi will have more bargaining chips in the Xing family." "Oh, thank you. If you want, I am willing to bear your children. But you can't be partial. Don't worry. Many people love Chi-Chi now," Lu Wenhua comforted her. "Actually, I have a problem now and I hope you can promise me." Su Zipei suddenly thought of something. "After we get married, can we move to a small villa? I just hope that no matter when Chi-Chi comes home, she will have a hot meal to eat. That way, even if someone suspects her relationship with young Master Xing, she will be able to handle it. If I get married and the house is empty, how will Chi-Chi answer to the Shin family?" Lu Wenhua listened to his wife and nodded. Actually, the villa is closer to Eton. Of course I'm willing. Suzy Pei got the answer and hugged Lu Wenhua gratefully. Perhaps Chi-Chi was right. The heavens had left the best for her last. After that, Suzy Pei called Mu Chi-Chi. Mu Chi-Chi had just woken up, and when she learned that Xianxia had sent her a gift, she gave him a big kiss on the cheek. Xianxia opened his eyes in confusion. When he saw Mu Chi-Chi put down her phone, he pulled her into his arms and pinned her under his body. Xiao, I'm going to be late. You should know the consequences when you kissed me. Men were usually excited in the morning, especially when Mu Chi-Chi looked so obsessed with him. It was a blatant seduction. But the professor's class is really scary. Can it be scarier than me? Xingzhao's hair was messy at the moment and he looked so sexy. Moreover, he was naked and his eyes were full of lust. Which woman could resist such temptation? Forget it. I'll admit it even if I fail the class. Mu Chi-Chi raised her hands and surrendered. Soon she was addicted to his touch and kisses. She did not have the energy to think about anything else. So, the bedroom in the morning was very romantic, especially the sounds. It made her blush and let her imagination run wild. Actually, not only Mu Chi-Chi but Xianxia was also late. The meeting in Huangyao was delayed for an hour. When Jingyun saw Xianxia, he was full of energy. Obviously he was satisfied. He had the person he loved in his arms. Even if it was a business deal worth billions, he could still postpone it. When she looked at the Rong family, Rong Junhan had a mental breakdown when she knew that her brother would not be able to escape from prison. Rong Group was in a mess now. The shareholders had withdrawn their investments and some had sold their shares. There was no one who could clean up the mess. Was it her daughter? He could not count on it. Because Yu Jing had been thinking about how to find another man to rely on. How could she make a comeback in such a situation? The more Rong Junhan thought about it, the colder she felt. In the end, she said to Yu Jing, Xin Jianchuan is also in this hospital. Push me to see him. Mom, are you going to beg this man? He's just a cripple. He can't help us. Don't talk nonsense. You just need to push me to him, Rong Junhan said coldly. Her fracture was in a cast, so it was difficult for her to move. Yu Jing found a wheelchair and pushed Rong Junhan to the 8th floor of the hospital. It was the ward where Xin Jianchuan was recuperating. After lunch, Xin Jianchuan was about to take a nap. But when he saw his old friend, he was immediately awake. You are the one who planned everything, Jianchuan. Because other than you, I can't think of anyone else in the Xin family who would be so ruthless. Xin Jianchuan leaned against the headboard and looked at Rong Junhan calmly. This is the price you have to pay for letting me live. Rong Junhan laughed at herself when she got the answer. I was wondering how a disabled person who can't even speak properly could do so many things behind the scenes. But I have underestimated you. You're famous for being a vengeful person. I made you suffer in bed for more than 10 years. Will you leave me alone? I am too naive. Yu Jing heard their conversation and went forward angrily. She wanted to hit Xin Jianchuan. But Rong Junhan stopped her. Do whatever you want if you want to die faster. Mom, he is just a cripple. His body is damaged but his brain is not. If you still want to live, you'd better get out of here. Rong Junhan shouted at Yu Jing. She was so agitated that she almost hurt her wound. Yu Jing stomped her feet and went out obediently. Chapter 199. I'm just a useless person. Xin Jianchuan could now speak a sentence more fluently. In that case, you still want to make life difficult for us. Rong Junhan said agitatedly. I've taken care of you for more than 10 years. Can't you spare our lives? Who did I become like this? Xin Jianchuan asked Rong Junhan. I didn't do it on purpose. You did. Xin Jianchuan said confidently. If you want me to spare your life, it depends on your attitude. Are you going to cling on to something that doesn't exist, or are you willing to disappear from Jianchuan? Rong Junhan understood what Xin Jianchuan meant. Xin Jianchuan wanted her to give up everything and leave Jianchuan with Yu Jing. Moreover, she was not allowed to step into this city ever again. Will you let us go if we do that? At least, I won't bother to help you if you're somewhere else. Xin Jianchuan replied. He was a man with a daughter now. What awaited him next was rehabilitation training. He did not want to waste any more time on this family of scum. However, he could not watch this family of 3 walk around in front of him so shamelessly. I understand. Rong Junhan nodded. She looked hopeless. If you want to disappear, you must disappear completely. Rong Junhan looked at her leg that was in a cast. She thought of her brother who was going to be imprisoned. She could not help but cry. She had been scheming for so many years. She had been hiding in the Xin family for so many years. But in the end she could not even go home. Xin Jianchuan did not pity her at all. After all, this woman had done all kinds of bad things. Rong Junhan knew that there was nothing she could do in front of Xin Jianchuan. She could only hide her embarrassment. She called Yu Jing into the ward and pushed her away from Xin Jianchuan's territory. Mom, what should we do next? Go home and pack your things. We are moving out of Jianchuan. What? Yu Jing exclaimed. If you don't want to be the one with a broken leg, then don't ask. Yu Jing kept quiet when she thought of her parents lying in the hospital. She could not imagine how scary Xin Jianchuan was. He would kill them all. But her mother had been scheming for her whole life. But she ended up like this. Yu Jing felt that her world was collapsing. Saturday came quickly. Before she went to the Xin family, Mu Qiqi brought chicken soup to the hospital to visit Xin Jianchuan. Dad, drink it while it's hot. Xin Jianchuan looked at his daughter and knew that she was going to attend the birthday banquet today. He smiled and said, "Are you here to learn from me? What are you thinking?" "I just want to see you." Mu Qiqi answered him. "I'm here to see how Rong Junhan is doing. Didn't Grandpa say that she is also in this hospital?" When Rong Junhan was mentioned, Xin Jianchuan was silent for a moment. Then he replied, "You won't be able to see this family in Jianchuan anymore." Mu Qiqi didn't quite understand. The whole family left. Xin Jianchuan replied, "Maybe I'm old and don't want to kill them all. As long as she disappears from my sight, I can let her live. The Rong clan only has herself to blame for this outcome." Mu Qiqi nodded. Then she smiled at Xin Jianchuan. "Then we'll have to look forward to the future. You must get well soon or I'll be bullied in the Xin family." "Who dares to bully you?" "You don't know." Mu Qiqi pouted. "I heard from your grandfather that Xin Rui likes you a lot, doesn't she?" Xin Jianchuan reminded her not to throw a tantrum. "But if someone comes to trouble you, I will be your strongest support. You don't have to be afraid of anything." "I know. He had a great boyfriend and a great father. What was there for her to be afraid of now?" After visiting Xin Jianchuan in the hospital, Mu Qiqi went back to her new home. She changed into a black A-line dress. There was a layer of black muslin on top of the dress. She looked elegant and her skin was fair. At her age, she was in her prime. As long as there was a confident smile on her face, she would attract attention no matter where she went. Mu Qiqi did not know that Xianxia was going to the birthday banquet. She asked Uncle Lin to send her to the Xin family at 5 o'clock. She had to meet Grandpa Xin and go to the birthday banquet with Xin Rui. Xin Rui was wearing a blue dress and her hair was braided. She looked very special. It seemed that she knew her shortcomings. So she always wanted to find something special to make herself look more attractive. "Qiqi, you are so beautiful." Xin Rui was surprised when she saw Mu Qiqi. "I think your hair is very beautiful today." Xin Rui smiled when she heard the compliment. "I learned it overseas. I will teach you how to braid it someday." Third aunt stood aside and pulled her cloak. She rolled her eyes at them and muttered, "What do you mean by beautiful? You are just an illegitimate child. What is there to praise? We can leave after Grandpa has changed." Xin Rui was not affected by her mother at all. She was very friendly to Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi put on a fake smile. She knew that third aunt, who was not far from her, had a resentful look on her face. Soon Grandpa Xin walked out of the room. He was wearing a blue striped suit. He looked very energetic. "Since you are ready, let's go." Mu Qiqi went forward and held Grandpa Xin's arm. Xin Rui was pulled aside by third aunt. She secretly gave Xin Rui a bag and put it in her silver handbag. "If you want to embarrass the girl tonight, you can apply this on her body. It will cause an allergic reaction. Be careful." "Mom." Xin Rui was shocked. "Don't be stubborn. You have to fight for your future. Aren't you afraid now that your grandfather likes this illegitimate child so much?" Xin Rui was helpless. But she did not get angry at her mother. She would never use the thing her mother prepared. But she did not have time to take it out. So she could only put it in her handbag. The The three of them got into the car. But Grandpa Shen looked at Shen Rui. Rui, you are the eldest sister of the Shen family. Don't be bewitched by some evil tricks. Grandpa, don't worry. I will take good care of Chi-Chi. Shen Rui smiled and held Mu Chi-Chi's hand. If it was someone else, they would have long fallen in love with this elder sister, right? Chapter 200. Especially when Shen Rui was so friendly to her. Even Grandpa Shen would be suspicious. Chi-Chi, don't be nervous at the banquet tonight. They are my old comrades. They won't make things difficult for you. I know, Grandpa. Anyway, she was used to gossip. She would easily become the topic of gossip when she was in such a situation. She was a twin. How could she have two fathers? It was normal for others to be curious. She could pretend that she did not hear anything as long as it was not too much. I will keep a close eye on Chi-Chi's location, Shen Rui said to the two of them. Grandpa Shen was very satisfied with his two granddaughters. One was talented in literature and the other was logical. They were both good descendants of the Shen family. They had brought glory to the Shen family. Soon the car of the Shen family arrived at the entrance of the hotel where the banquet was held. The hotel staff helped Mu Chi-Chi get off the car. Grandpa Lin, the protagonist of the birthday banquet, was standing at the entrance. He was wearing a white suit and looked quite handsome. When he saw his old comrade, he quickly came to welcome him. Just call him Grandpa Lin later. I will bring you along. Shen Rui reminded Mu Chi-Chi. Mu Chi-Chi nodded and followed Grandpa Shen with Shen Rui. Rui has become prettier. Grandpa Lin looked at Shen Rui and smiled warmly. Then he looked at Mu Chi-Chi. He seemed to understand what was going on. He said to Grandpa Shen, you are indeed Jianchuan's daughter. You are so handsome. Don't say that. She is still a little girl. She will have to rely on the elders to take care of her in the future. Please come in. After some polite greetings, the three of them entered the banquet hall. Looking at the colorful decorations of the banquet hall, and seeing that most of the guests were dressed in military uniforms, Mu Chi-Chi knew very well that it was no wonder that her third aunt was trying so hard not to let her take the limelight for herself on such an occasion. Mu Chi-Chi tilted her head and looked at Shen Rui. She knew most of the guests because they often walked around. So she was not so nervous when she greeted someone she was familiar with. Hey Rui, is this your younger sister? A woman in a red dress stopped and looked at Mu Chi-Chi. She asked Shen Rui. Yes, Aunt. Shen Rui greeted her politely. Then she said to Mu Chi-Chi, this is Aunt Yao. Hello, Aunt Yao. She looked at Mu Chi-Chi and pursed her lips into a smile. She nodded in acknowledgement, but her gaze was so meaningful that it made people choke on their throats and mind it very much. Then the woman left. Shen Rui turned around and said to Mu Chi-Chi, stay away from her. She's quite a gossip. Wasn't this gossip? Now he was chatting with someone else and he kept glancing at Mu Chi-Chi. Grandpa Shen was greeting everyone along the way. So Mu Chi-Chi was led by Shen Rui. So Shen Rui brought Mu Chi-Chi to the place where the young men and ladies gathered together. Rui, is this your sister? There were 5 or 6 people standing in front of him. They were both men and women and they were all about 18 or 19 years old. However, each of them had a confident attitude on their faces. One look and you could tell that they had extraordinary backgrounds. Shen Rui looked at Mu Chi-Chi and nodded. Yes, my sister. The man didn't ask any more questions. Instead, he turned around and said to his friends, have you heard about this girl's background? It's interesting. Shen Rui's expression changed when she heard that. She looked at Mu Chi-Chi. But Mu Chi-Chi didn't have much reaction. It was because she was already mentally prepared for it. I heard that her mother and 2 men. That's why they gave birth to a pair of twins. I heard from my mother that the young master of the Shen family was a man with a heavy taste when he was young. I didn't expect him to have such a taste. Knowing that they were up to no good, Shen Rui turned around with Mu Chi-Chi. Don't listen to them. The kids who grew up in the military are all lawless and spoiled. They don't care about other people's feelings. They only think that it's fun. Then I'll go and humiliate them. Mu Chi-Chi got rid of Shen Rui's hand and went back to the 5 men. Chi-Chi. Shen Rui was anxious. She was afraid that Mu Chi-Chi would make a fool of herself. But Mu Chi-Chi wouldn't accept it. She asked them directly, do you think that my family background is cool? None of them expected Mu Chi-Chi to provoke them so bluntly, and all 5 of them looked at her with interest. We are wondering why you still have the cheek to appear here. Don't you think that your family background is embarrassing? I don't think so, Muchichi answered calmly. She didn't look down on herself at all. That's interesting. Don't you know that half of the people in this banquet are talking about you behind your back? One of the boys who was wearing a white suit said, If I were you, I would have crawled into a hole in the ground. How shameless. So what's the role of your parents in this banquet? A major general in the army. He has great achievements, the boy said proudly. Even a major general can only cultivate a person who talks behind people's back. He's a sneaky person who bullies the weak and fears the strong. Muchichi retorted calmly. What's wrong with my family background? Does it bother you? A major general's upbringing is just let me ask you again. What are your achievements? You're already 18 or 19 years old. Don't tell me that you only know how to eat, drink, and have fun. The boy stuttered when he was asked about his shortcomings. I know that you will talk behind people's backs. You guys look like good friends. So I have reason to believe that you will be marked by the company you keep. Do you think that I want to be respected by you? You think too highly of yourself. They were so angry that their faces turned red. But they didn't dare to be presumptuous because their parents were there. But Muchichi was different. It was her first time here. Even if she did something wrong, she would be forgiven first. Shinrui witnessed the whole process of Muchichi's retaliation. She was worried that Muchichi would say something vulgar and bring shame to the Shin family. Chichi, don't bother with these people. Just stay away from them. They're just a bunch of rich men. They might come to find trouble with you. Sure. Muchichi was not afraid. She was being bullied now. How was she different from before? Chapter 201. I'm fine, Grandpa. I was humiliated by a few kids just now. But it's fine now, Grandpa. Shinrui's answer was on the top. Muchichi's answer was on the bottom. Grandpa Shin glanced at Muchichi and asked her, How did they humiliate you? Muchichi told Grandpa Mu everything from the beginning. He did not hide anything. But in Shinrui's eyes, Muchichi was just looking for trouble. She was not the one who was bullied. She just wanted to maintain her image as a well-mannered person. She did not want to have any conflict with anyone at the scene. But Muchichi was not afraid of fighting. Grandpa Shin's eyes darkened when he heard that. He asked Muchichi, Tell me, which kids did you bully? Muchichi pointed at the few people beside her. Grandpa Shin immediately recognized those children. They were the devil's incarnations. It was his granddaughter's first time attending such a banquet. She was humiliated in front of everyone. No one would be able to accept it. Grandpa, it's just a quarrel between kids. It's not as serious as you think. Shinrui tried to calm Grandpa Shin down immediately. If you go and find trouble with those kids, I won't be able to get along with them anymore. Grandpa Shin did not say anything. He just looked at Shinrui with a meaningful gaze. I don't want to spend too much time with them. Muchichi told Shinrui frankly. Sister Rui, you can stay away from me if you don't want to get involved. Little girl, follow me. Grandpa Shin protected Muchichi by his side. Then he brought her back to his comrades. But Muchichi's action had alerted the parents of the kids. They were not from ordinary families. So it was inevitable that they would feel embarrassed. Old General Shin, your granddaughter is really eloquent. It's the first time that she made the devil of the family so angry with just a few words. But it's just a quarrel between kids. I hope you won't mind it. The Major General's father walked up to the old man and spoke in a strange tone. Grandpa Shin smiled and patted Muchichi's shoulder. He replied, It's important to know one's place. You should know what you should say and what you shouldn't. I'm afraid you should go back and teach your son a lesson. Otherwise, even if my granddaughter doesn't teach him a lesson today, he will be taught a lesson by someone else. Of course, I won't take such a small matter to heart. However, if my granddaughter is unhappy, I won't be happy either. Today is Elder Lin's birthday, so it's not appropriate for me to lose my temper here. But, even though I'm retired, I still believe that my words carry some weight. Major General Zhong, you should behave yourself. You don't have to worry about that. I'm more worried about you, old Shin. After all, this is the world of the young. Aren't you afraid that your granddaughter will cause a disaster one day? Of course, the other party wouldn't be afraid of a retired old chief. Grandpa Shen smiled calmly, but he was not afraid at all. Just then, the Lin family knew that Grandpa Shen had a conflict with someone, so they quickly came to mediate. Oh, is everyone laughing at the Lin family for not taking good care of them? Both of you are people of high status. I hope that old Shen and Major General Zhong can be kind to each other for my father's sake. You're humiliating someone else's family matter in public. Are you saying that the Shen family is in the wrong? Grandpa Shen's voice became a little sharper. You have to be taught a lesson if you're not taught well. Old Shen, don't cross the line. The Major General couldn't let go of his pride. If I'm crossing the line, why would I let my granddaughter be bullied by your son? You don't have the right to argue with me yet. Everyone was protective of their children, but old Master Xing had to tell the other party that Mu Qiqi was not someone who could be bullied by anyone. His son was not someone who could be insulted and slandered by anyone. If he was bullied the first time, how was Xiaoqi going to attend such occasions in the future? Of course, both of them were embarrassed. But Mu Qiqi and her granddaughter did not suffer any loss. Xin Rui took a deep breath. She always wanted to be peaceful. She thought that she would not be liked by others if she competed with them. So she thought that Mu Qiqi should not make a big deal out of it. Her mother said that Mu Qiqi had a low EQ, but she did not agree with it. But how could Mu Qiqi not know about it? But she had already said that she would not give in on this kind of thing. It was not because she had a high EQ. If she still smiled when others were stepping on her head, that would be called stupid. She would not accept this kind of thing even if it was 100 years later. More and more people were talking about Mu Qiqi in the banquet hall. Of course, there were different opinions about her. But she did not care about other people's opinions. It was more important for her to live comfortably. At that moment, there was a commotion in the crowd. Mu Qiqi looked towards the entrance of the hotel. She saw a man in a black suit entering the banquet hall with Jing Yun. You must be Xianxia. Didn't you say that sixth brother is coming? The guests were paying close attention to the crown prince of Huangyao. It could not be helped. He was the center of attention no matter where he went. Mu Qiqi looked at Xianxia. Xianxia looked at Mu Qiqi too. How many people in the banquet hall greeted Xianxia? But he did not respond to them. He would respond to the elders. But he would not even look at those who were not important to him. Mu Qiqi was afraid that her relationship with Xianxia would be exposed. So she turned around and looked at Shenrui. But in a blink of an eye she saw Shenrui looking at Xianxia. She could not fake the admiration and surprise in her eyes. Suddenly she understood why Shenrui wanted to get close to her. No wonder Shenrui noticed Xingxiao's English name. But Mu Qiqi looked away quietly. Then she saw Xianxia walking to her and Grandpa Shen. Uncle Shen. You are here too. Grandpa Shen smiled at him. Xianxia was an important person. He knew what was going on when he saw the situation in front of him. He patted Mu Qiqi's head and protected her. Did the little girl get into trouble? She did not get into trouble. But she was bullied. Grandpa Shen looked at Major General Zhong. Xianxia knew what he meant. He smiled and said, I will take care of her. You can relax now. Then take good care of Xiaoqi for me. The old man ordered. If she gets talked about again, I'll make trouble for you. Chapter 202. People were afraid of Xianxia because Xianxia was not someone who could be persuaded by force or persuasion. Moreover, he did things according to his mood. He had many ways to take revenge. Most importantly, he would always remember that grudge in his heart. Major General Zhong restrained himself when he saw Xianxia supporting Mu Qiqi. He did not think for himself. He had to think for his son. Fending Xianxia might not end well. He did not want his son to wake up on a mountain 4,000 meters above sea level. He did not want his son to wake up one day. Xianxia often did that to others. Major General Zhong wanted to turn and leave without drawing attention, but Xianxia saw him turn and quickly called out, Major General Zhong, if I hear your son speaking rudely to Mu Qiqi in public like this again, he's going to suffer. There are 5 of them. Are you going to teach each of them a lesson? There are 5 of them. I will spend more money. I have money. Major General Zhong did not look happy. But he could not do anything to Xianxia. So he could only swallow his anger and leave. Humph, these people are really afraid of the strong and bully the weak. Grandpa Shen snorted when he saw that. I'm getting old. I am not as strong as I used to be. That's because they underestimate your power. Grandpa Xian did not make any guesses about their relationship, because they were each other's benefactors. So he understood that Xianxia would want to protect Mu Qiqi in such a situation. Then I will leave it to you. Grandpa Xian smiled and pushed Mu Qiqi closer to Xianxia. Don't cause trouble for your uncle Xianxia. Xianxia raised his eyebrows at Mu Qiqi. He had something to tell her. But Xinrui came up to him and greeted him. Uncle Xiao, do you remember me? Xianxia glanced at Xinrui. Then he asked casually, who are you? Forget it. I don't need to know who you are. It's a waste of time to remember your name. Come with me. Xianxia did not allow Xinrui to finish her sentence. He dragged Mu Qiqi away immediately. Now that Xianxia was by Mu Qiqi's side, everyone was looking at them again. The crown prince of the Xing family seems to have something to do with that girl from the Shen family. No wonder he's so arrogant. Turns out that he has the crown prince behind him. Why would the scions of the aristocratic families fear him? That was because Xianxia was a ruthless character who showed no mercy to outsiders. He did not even care about his own family and friends. If he provoked someone, he would immediately tease them to death. He would use any kind of torture to show off. That was why he was such a famous demon in the outside world. Xianxia brought Mu Qiqi to the buffet counter and asked her to get some snacks. On the way here, she had texted Xianxia that she had not eaten anything, and Xianxia remembered that the little one had not filled her stomach, so he asked her to fill the bottom first. Xiao, I think Xinrui approached me because of you. She likes you. Mu Qiqi held the plate and stared at the man beside her. Xianxia looked at Mu Qiqi abruptly. Was the little one getting jealous? I'll say it again. I don't have any impression of her. Xianxia answered Mu Qiqi directly. She's just an insignificant person, but she approached me because she wants to get close to you. But I know my Xiaoqir will not let her get close to me. Xianxia smiled confidently. He sounded like he was asking for a beating. Mu Qiqi glared at him. This man was really annoying. Don't worry. No one in this world is your match, okay? After teasing Mu Qiqi, he smiled and added. Mu Qiqi smiled as well. She took some snacks and sat at the banquet table. Xianxia sat next to her and put his right hand on the back of Mu Qiqi's chair. He looked as if he was protecting her. No one would dare to be presumptuous towards Mu Qiqi anymore. Mu Qiqi smiled. She took a seat next to Mu Qiqi. Not far away, Xinrui was envious of Mu Qiqi. She was so envious that her eyes turned red. For so many years she could only look at Xianxia from afar. She never had the chance to be so close to Xianxia like Mu Qiqi did. He wanted to be close to Xianxia too. But Xianxia did not remember her at all. He did not remember her. So, being nice to Mu Qiqi was the only way for her to get close to Xianxia. But when she lowered her head, she suddenly thought of the things in her handbag. She was very nervous because she had never done such a bad thing before. But she did not want to miss such an opportunity. Xinrui was struggling in her heart. Mu Qiqi ate the pastries with satisfaction. She felt more full now. But Grandpa Xing suddenly walked toward them. He said to Mu Qiqi, Qiqi, come with me. I'll bring you to meet Grandpa Lin's grandson. Mu Qiqi was stunned. She turned and looked at Xianxia. Xianxia was expressionless. But Mu Qiqi could feel that he was trying his best to control himself. So Mu Qiqi smiled and said to Grandpa Xing, Grandpa, I'm still hungry. It's not good for my image now. They won't mind. Get up. Grandpa, I really don't want to get to know the young master of the Lin family. Can you let me be more comfortable? Mu Qiqi felt helpless. So she told Grandpa Xing directly, I have a boyfriend outside. Are you lying to me? Grandpa Xing stared at her. Even if it's true, it's just a boyfriend. You're not married. I'm just asking you to get to know him. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid. She was afraid that the man beside her would eat her up. Xinrui walked toward them. She helped Grandpa Xing to persuade Mu Qiqi. The young master of the Lin family is really handsome. You like him, Qiqi? I think my sister is more suitable. Grandpa, please don't force me. Can you? Grandpa Xing took a deep breath helplessly. He pointed at her and looked disappointed. You're such a stupid girl. It's good to be stupid, Mu Qiqi said. Bring your boyfriend home and let me have a look at him. Then Grandpa Xing left. She could tell that he was very disappointed. Mu Qiqi looked at the so-called young master of the Lin family through the crowd. He was not interested at all. But Xin Rui still felt that the matter was not serious enough. She continued to persuade her. Tianwen is really a good girl. You like him? You shouldn't reject my kindness. Sister Rui, I said I have a boyfriend. Mu Qiqi explained patiently. Xin Rui did not give up. She added, you'll know my kindness in the future. Chapter 203. Lin Mu and was handsome, especially his long and narrow eyes. He was really attractive. Such a man seemed to be full of emotions. Just look at what he said. He was really attractive. Mu, and you and Mu Qiqi seem to be a good match. Xin Rui smiled. Really? Thank you, Sister Rui. But Lin Mu and glanced at Xianxia, who was standing beside Mu Qiqi. He greeted him politely. Nice to meet you, Crown Prince. Xianxia looked up at Lin Muan, but that glance was all it took for Lin Muan to understand, and he quickly added, but I think that Miss Qiqi doesn't like to be interfered with by elders, and I happen to be the same. Xianxia looked at Lin Muan with his chin and gave him a satisfied look. You are sensible. Lin Muan laughed in his mind. He was worried for himself. Was Grandpa Xin setting him up? How could he get to know the person whom the Crown Prince was protecting? Others might not be able to see it. But he was an experienced man in love. He could see the murderous look in his eyes. Feelings can be cultivated. Sister Rui, there are still many guests tonight. I'm sorry that I can't serve you well. I'll go now. Miss Mu Qiqi, nice to meet you. Lin Muan was sensible. He did not dare to offend her. Mu Qiqi had a good impression of Lin Muan. At least he was more sensible than Xin Rui. She knew why Xin Rui helped her. Firstly, she wanted Mu Qiqi to owe her a favor. Secondly, she wanted to get close to Xianxia. But she certainly didn't know that her action made Xianxia want to strangle her. Soon, everyone had a new direction for gossip. Even the young master of the Lin family took the initiative to get to know her, but she ignored him. What was so charming about Mu Qiqi? The others really wanted to know why, especially since Xianxia was so protective of the little one. Xin Rui was so jealous. She did not realize how jealous she was. Uncle Xiao, you really love Mu Qiqi. Don't eat too much. You'll have a stomachache later. Xianxia ignored Xin Rui and reminded Mu Qiqi. Xin Rui felt awkward. She turned around and left. On the other hand, the children who argued with Mu Qiqi just now laughed at Xin Rui. You treat her as your younger sister, but she doesn't treat you as her elder sister. Look at her. You don't even exist in her eyes. Xin Rui looked at them. Although what they said was unpleasant, it was the truth. She was so nice to Mu Qiqi, but Mu Qiqi did not care about her at all. Xin Rui's grip on her purse tightened when she thought about it. It was not a big deal that Mu Qiqi was in the limelight at the banquet. After all, she did not care about that. But Mu Qiqi had stolen Xianxiao's attention, and that was something she could not tolerate. So she felt that she did not need to worry too much. So when everyone was gathered in the banquet hall, Xin Rui went to the washroom with her handbag. Then she looked for the hotel service staff and told them something. Meanwhile, Mu Qiqi noticed that there were too many eyes on them. She quickly said to Xianxia, you should go and walk around too. Otherwise, I'll become public enemy number 1. What are you afraid of? Xianxia asked. But he still got up from his seat and walked to the elders. Then he talked to the guest. Of course, the guests also wanted to know why he was so protective of this little one. The crown prince seems to like this girl from the Shun family. Is there any special reason? The guests obviously wanted to know the gossip. This little one saved my life. She's my benefactor. Xianxia held his wine glass and smiled. So I can't bear to see others bully her. The other party suddenly realized that the two of them had such a relationship. No wonder Xianxia was being so considerate. Then you should repay her well. Xianxia purposely revealed the fact that Mu Qiqi was his benefactor. He wanted to prevent others from guessing. Besides, he wanted to let everyone know that Mu Qiqi was the person Xianxia wanted to repay. No one could touch her. To have you protecting this little girl, it's really a blessing from 3 lifetimes. Lin Muan, who was standing aside, rolled his eyes elegantly. Xianxiao's words were only meant to brush off the older generation. He was a sharp-eyed man, and he could tell that the relationship between Xianxia and Mu Qiqi was not ordinary, alright? Of course, he would not offend the crown prince for no reason. After all, he still had the ability to help others. But did they not care about the difference in seniority between them? Moreover, he found Mu Qiqi very interesting. She fought against 5 people at the same time and fought against the children of the aristocratic families. Her courage was not something an ordinary daughter of a rich family would have. He wanted to see how far Xianxia and Mu Qiqi could go. After all, he thought that most of these relationships would end in vain. Moreover, it happened to the crown prince. That was the Sheng family. Soon the banquet was about to begin. The guests entered the dining hall one after another. At this time, although Mu Qiqi was following behind Grandpa Shen, her eyes were fixed on Xianxia. She wanted to know where this man was sitting. Grandpa Shen must be chatting with the elders. But the juniors had their own places to go. Mu Qiqi could not be separated from Shenrui. So when Shenrui called her, she walked over and sat beside Shenrui. Because Mu Qiqi was concerned about where Xianxia would be sitting, she did not notice that her chair was different from the others. Shenrui did not touch the chair at all. She only glanced at the back of the chair from the corner of her eyes. Grandpa Lin went to the stage to give his speech. Soon the banquet began. Mu Qiqi saw Xianxia, who was not far away from her. Xianxia looked back at her and comforted her. "Be good. I will bring you home later." Mu Qiqi did not mind that Xianxia was not by her side. But after a while she felt that her back was itchy. So she scratched it subconsciously. Then she rubbed her fingers and found something powdery. She brought it to her nose and sniffed it. Shenrui saw her action and asked, "What's wrong? Is there a problem?" "Nothing." Mu Qiqi shook her head. But if Mu Qiqi observed carefully, she could see that Shenrui was a little nervous. After all, she had never done such a thing before. She just wanted to show off in front of Xianxia. So she could only let Mu Qiqi suffer. But she seemed to have forgotten something. Mu Qiqi was a medical student. You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.